catch and release.
That shit right there is the most important thing that was said on the show.
And that is what helps everybody.
Told my teacher, dumb bitch, I'm gonna get millions. Watch this. In the project living, spoke it till existence.
What's up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to motherfucking reality. As always, I am joined by my handsomest of co-hosts, DJ God, otherwise known as Vaughn the Impale. Dude, you have got a Valentine's glow in your face.
Hey, man.
It is the 15th of February. Valentine's Day was yesterday, and you still walking around with hearts in your eyes and shit.
I know, man. Hey, I got a fourth daughter coming in,
Couple,
6 weeks, 5 weeks?
4 girls.
That didn't keep me from making my wife pregnant another time. A second time. I made her re-pregnant.
You re-pregnated her after she was pregnant? What the fuck? Where are we going with this?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. It didn't go the direction I wanted it to.
Did you guys celebrate Valentine's, or what do you do?
Well, we're going to kind of do that today.
Are you?
Yeah, just because of, I think certainly in the last 3 years, but probably in the last 7 years. I can't tell you the last time we went to a black tie affair. So the fact that we're going to the First Form thing tonight with all of you guys, she's really excited about that.
Tonight's our First Form awards banquet and ceremony that we do once a year. It's 500-600 people. Everybody comes up and we reward our key people and performers, and it's a good time. It's all, you know what's cool? You're going to notice this too. It's cool to see all the guys, because a lot of these guys, dude, it's the first time they ever put on a tux.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really, really cool.
Yeah, well, I had to go pretty standard classic tux living in a small town.
Hey,
so
bro.
powder
Classic
blue,
tux.
ruffles.
Yeah, okay. Little Dumb and Dumber action.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I warned my wife that there'd be like tons of hot women there tonight who all wanted pictures with me.
Well, and they probably all need books written too.
Well, that's
Clearly.
true. Yeah. It's good. That's an inside joke, but lots of books. Yeah.
So we have a very special guest today. Why don't you introduce her?
Yeah, we are excited to have Dr. Gabrielle Lyon with us. And you know what? I know you don't want me to brag on you, but I'm going to brag on you anyway. So basically, Dr. Lyon, you are a functional medicine doctor. You're board certified in family medicine, right? Mm-hmm. And you went to Arizona College of Osteopathy, which I'm a big believer in osteopathy because my wife is an osteopath. And you also went to Washington University in St. Louis, which, if you guys don't know, that is like a cream of the crop type of school. And in fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's ranked #1 medical school in the nation. But
it's definitely up there.
It was at one point. You got like a nutritional science. Did your fellowship in nutritional science?
I did, and obesity medicine and geriatrics.
That's awesome. Well, and then, if I'm getting this wrong, forgive me, but you specialize in muscle metabolism and body composition optimization, which means you help people get swole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
yeah.
I do.
But in general, you are just a very, very, very intelligent woman. That's why we had you on here.
That's what I wanted to hit on here. Okay. What you guys don't understand is that she's one of the smartest people that I personally know, and we want to bring smart people on the show. So she's here, and one of the cool things that she does is help with the health and the overall fitness and conditioning of all branches of special forces. So for the United States. So that's something that's really cool. You guys should know too. But I'm happy to have her on, really, for the sake of conversation.
Yeah.
So thanks for making the trip down here.
Yeah, happy to be here. This is a second time we flew with the baby.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, so we have a trick. We dress her really cute.
You give her vodka?
We put her in a little sailor outfit with a little hat. And
Yeah.
she looks really cute. So then when she's screaming and crying, everyone's like, oh, man, the baby is so cute.
You know that not everyone's like, oh, yeah, the baby. They're still like, shut the fuck up,
Totally.
baby.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
100%.
Yeah.
So with you being married to a Navy SEAL, I love the direction you went with the name of your girl. So you want to share with everybody that?
Yeah. So her name is Aries Hunter.
Aries Hunter.
And
who is Aries?
Aries is the god of war, actually.
The god of war.
We were trying to keep that a little under wraps, but,
Yeah,
it's all right.
Well, I'm super impressed by that. But listen, so speaking of husbands and marriage and babies and all that, obviously last week was Valentine's Day, and so while we're not going to stay, slavishly to the subject of love and relationships. I just thought I'd give everybody a little preview of what to expect in our conversation. I read a recent survey that basically shared some pretty startling results about what women think in America, and it's super relevant to everybody who doesn't want to die alone and be unhappy. So we're going to talk about that today a little bit. Given your expertise too, Dr. Gabrielle, there is a war going on in America. It is an intense war. It is a war for the heart and soul of America. Well, actually, technically, I think it would be the mouth and the stomach of America. We're going to talk about that too and why it's relevant to everybody who actually continues to live by eating, which is pretty much everybody other than those who are fed intravenously, which I think is probably a very small percentage of our country. So we're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about why the fuck everybody's so fat.
We could talk about that.
I'm happy to talk about that.
We could talk about that.
And then the last thing, can we also talk about why everybody now thinks that it's okay just to throw science out the window of every single diet in the face of the earth and just make up shit?
I think
Let's
we'll
talk
probably
about that.
There's a lot of pseudo experts out there. Yeah. It's pretty outrageous.
Yeah. So after we talk about all that, the last thing I want to talk about is an epidemic that's actually sweeping the country, and it's not the coronavirus, but this epidemic is in many ways just as dangerous and affects people. It really strikes at the heart of what it means to be a human being. So that is what we're going to cover in a way that nobody else on the planet can cover. But before we start, I actually have one of two questions that I want you all to answer. The first question is, what is the most embarrassing date you've ever been on, or horrible date you've ever been on, or just anything involving a romantic situation that was super embarrassing? Or the other question, if you would like to opt for the other question, the other question is, give us what you think is the greatest pimp move. You know, like just the greatest pimp move, like how to make yourself attractive, you know? So you start, Dr.
Okay,
Gabrielle.
all right, in the hot seat. So the worst date, and I think that this is universal, those are the guys that all they do is talk about themselves, truly, as if they are the most interesting man in America.
Right.
Just brutal. So just...
Is that frequent?
Well, I mean,
common?
Obviously I haven't been dating for a while, but yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily... Guys, I think that's people right now.
Yeah.
You know, what I've noticed from the social media, you know, I'm old enough to know what it was like before the social media craze hit. And a lot of the younger people, you know, they don't really remember because they weren't around. And I think it's greatly accelerated the level of narcissism in our society.
Yeah.
You know, it seems that it's really hard to have a conversation where someone just doesn't want to like barf out all the good shit about themselves all the time. It's kind of weird.
It is weird. You know, it's really interesting. And then they believe their own hype. And that's what's even weirder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mean like these motherfuckers on Instagram that have like 1.7 million followers and they get 4,000 comments on their fucking posts and no one knows who the fuck they are?
Right.
Like, and then all of a sudden they walk around with their chest puffed out like there's some kind of... Like, dude, just because you went and bought a bunch of fake shit,
right,
and it makes it look like online that everybody knows who you are, doesn't mean that everybody knows who the fuck you are.
Yeah, or that you've done any of the work that is required to get there.
You ever wonder, like, how is it possible that you could actually pay for all those followers and that you know deep down that 98% of your followers are bots, but you still feel good about that?
Bro,
I don't think they feel good.
You don't
I don't think they do either. I bet you they live in fucking fear and they're waiting for the shoe to drop where they're going to get fucking caught.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a terrible way to live because, dude, I mean, I can't imagine what that would feel like to like literally be pretending to be something that you're completely not and then charging money to talk about those things. It's just weird, man. And it's weird to me that the government hasn't come in and like just put some of these motherfuckers in jail to make a point.
Yeah, like scam.
But I mean, dude, when we're talking,
it is fraud.
It is totally fraud. But and we're getting off track with this. But I mean, I think it's what you said. I think people start to believe their own shit.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, like that doesn't. It's not going to make it true, man.
Right.
You know. And then you see these same guys and girls like throwing events and having parties and doing these things like they're celebrities. Like, you know, Saturday night's my birthday party, and they make like a fucking flyer for it. It's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like when I was growing up, you fucking Saturday night was your birthday, and still like, dude, I'm gonna call 3 of my boys. I'm gonna say, hey, let's go get fucked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we're not making a fucking, well, actually, Madot and I might make a flyer, but it'll be for us to send back and forth to each other.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then just convince ourselves that we're cool. But we don't fucking, you know, it's just weird, man. Like, there's weird shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
there is weird.
What is going on?
Like people are going to great lengths to prove that they're somebody, that they're significant.
Yeah, but
like,
man,
it's crazy.
you know, like how much better would the world be if people were just be somebody to the people right next to them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's great.
Yeah, like that's
the most important.
That's the point, right? You want to be someone, start with the people right here next to you.
Yeah.
Let's do something for them.
Right.
You know, if you really know all this shit you say you know, why don't you help the motherfuckers you know in real life?
Yep.
You know, but people don't want to do that work anymore. They don't want to grind out for 10 years or 20 years.
Or
you know,
17.
I made a story yesterday about you know, Chris and myself when we were starting our business. You know, the first 10 years, like people think this is bullshit, like we're making it up. And the first 10 years in business, man, we fucking made 58 grand each. I could fucking prove it. Year 1 through 3, $0. Okay. 3 through 10, $695 a month. That's truly how we did it. And then when I say that, people are like, well, how the fuck did you survive? Well, motherfucker, I worked other jobs to keep my business open. That doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
You know, but look where we are now. You know what I mean? People just aren't willing to do that. They have all this technology, all these things at their disposal where they can literally connect with different people in a meaningful way hundreds of times a day, but they choose not to do it. And instead, they want to pretend like they're a fucking celebrity and everybody owes them the conversation or the interest or the, you know, whatever it is, the attention, the likes, the shares, the whatever. You know, people don't owe you that shit.
Yeah.
You know, just because you have 1 million followers that you fucking bought doesn't mean people are going to listen to you. You know, so we have a situation right now going on where I think people are just fucking lost, man. I think people are really lost. They've lost the ability to communicate and care about the people right next to them and instead prefer to put out this image that they think is going to improve their existence, when in reality, all it does is take away from their existence because it's taken away from their soul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, if you're making up all this shit and you're trying to be something that you're not, that's going to wear you down, man, on the inside, because you know you're fucking lying. And that's going to kill your confidence. It's going to kill your self-esteem. It's going to make you uber paranoid, all these different things. And like, dude, if people would just start here and here and here and learn how to be good at it, you know, people would probably listen and it would start to grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, I was writing shit on Facebook in 2009 and it was getting 3 fucking likes. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody gave a shit. But here we are 10 plus years later and it's different. And people just aren't willing to accept that that's how it works. It just does. I don't know anybody in life who literally made something of themselves and it hasn't taken them a decade.
100%. And that goes back to this epidemic of bullshit that we're hearing in society about nutrition and health and wellness. Those people haven't done the work.
Right.
They haven't done 10, 20, 30 years of the work.
Right.
But their opinion is relevant.
That's right.
Your opinion is not relevant.
That's right.
It's
They
not
want
relevant.
instant gratification.
Yeah, but what you're saying, I think...
It's irrelevant information. And so, for example, I'll give you an example. So, you know, on my Instagram, I feel very passionately about just health and wellness because I care about people. So you know me.
Yeah.
I fucking care about their life.
Yeah.
I do.
Dude, that's one of my favorite things about you. I told you this the other day.
Yes, and I care deeply. I mean, I have invested. People invest in peripheral things. I've invested in myself. Hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt to invest in my education, so I can serve other people truly. And so I post these things that I know are very well vetted and validated. It's science. It's the laws of science, and you know, I've spent time learning this and studying this from the best, and I get tons of comments from 17-year-old girls or guys about how I'm lying, I'm funded by the industry, all this bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
As if their opinion is relevant.
Right.
Right.
It's not relevant.
Right.
Even if they have a couple 100,000 followers,
Well, that's what they think makes them relevant.
but they're not.
I know.
Right.
But
You know?
but this is the problem that we
It's
have
so
in society.
interesting.
Everybody's so quick to just want to like have the answer and be right versus actually taking the time to listen.
Yeah. Oh, and putting in, you've been in business for how long have you
21.
been? Okay.
21 years.
So you're telling me you put in the time.
Yeah.
You've earned it. You've earned the right to have a platform and to have an opinion that people listen to.
I kind of chuckle when I hear you say that their criticism is that, oh, you're just paid by the industry. Well, I'm pretty sure that there are tons of people in the industry that hate you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like you're not
Vaughn,
out there promoting the establishment. You know?
No.
That comes from people wanting to be an expert before they've done the fucking work.
Right.
You know, they want to. And dude, a lot of these things, like, you know, I understand, like, okay, let's just talk about vegans for just 1 second. All right. I understand why you believe in that. I truly get it. I truly get why you believe and why you live that lifestyle. I understand, dude. I fucking care about animals too, and I get it. Totally get the emotional investment that people have in it. But when you stand up and you start saying things that just aren't true, it discredits the movement.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, like, you know, dude, I've been attacked by vegan people by posting pictures of my dog, and then they come on my page and say, you don't love your dog, you eat fucking meat. And I'm like, well, that's some really fucking weird logic, but, you know, I do eat meat, and I do love my dog, and I can do both, all right? Now, I'm not barbecuing my fucking dog.
Right.
Like, you know, but, like, there's no logic in any of the arguments.
And they're the most, I have to say, they're the most abusive and aggressive group.
For sure.
They truly wanted their message to be heard.
Now,
that's not the way to do it.
I agree. And it's a culture problem in their movement. I totally agree with that. There is, now, with that being said, there is a lot of vegans I'm friends with that actually totally get it.
Yeah.
And they look at the science and they say, okay, I know the science is this, but I still choose to do this because I feel it's the right thing to do.
Right.
That is okay. But what's not okay is when you force shit out that's not true.
Right.
People make decisions based upon that information, and they end up less healthy because of it. And that's the problem they have. Plus, when you attack, what's the natural reaction of someone when you attack them? To resist.
Right.
So if you really care about the vegan movement, you vegans out there listening, listen, I get it, dude. I make a lot of vegan products. I try to create the best vegan products on the face of the earth for you guys. I totally support what you're doing. But understand that when you attack, you're hurting the moral cause that you're trying to promote.
Totally.
You know? So if they could reorganize their methods, they'd be a lot more effective and happier.
Yeah.
So while we're on that topic, because let's just roll with this, because this is something that we had planned as a topic to discuss. So a recent Valentine survey said that in spite of the fact that everybody dogs on the whole idea of dinner and a movie as sort of uninspiring and boring and cliche, the reality is the vast majority of Americans actually say, yeah, just having dinner together and chilling is a really, really great thing. So you guys are talking about vegans. I mentioned earlier, there's a war going on in America. It's a war for America's mouth and stomach, and it has to do with...
Because it's a war for dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a war about meat. So I think this really ties in to what you guys are talking about already. So let's just go with it. I was going to wait till later to talk about that, but let's talk about it. What's this war going on right now about meat?
Yeah, so it's like Andy was saying, there's this ethical dilemma where people have this issue with eating meat, but it's not about meat, right? It's about misinformation and pushing an agenda. So you've got two very separate groups. You have the people that are really into eating meat and protein and health, and then you've got this vegan vegetarian group, and it's really divided. And so what's happened is we're hearing a lot of false information that's literally poisoning our country.
Mm-hmm. So what's basically the position of the vegan people? Is
animals
both.
And animal products will kill you.
Animals and animal products will kill you,
and it's bad for the environment.
And it's bad for the environment, and it's cruel to animals.
Yeah.
Right? That's what the.
I mean, cruelty. If you take that off the table, right? Animals. Yeah. You do have to kill them to eat them. That would be really weird to do it while they're alive.
Yeah, right.
But then the other aspects of that, as if it's bad for the environment or bad for your health, are total lies.
Right. Let's talk about the cruelty piece later, but let's talk a little bit about that. So their contention is that beef is actually, I've actually heard vegans say it's a carcinogen.
Right.
You know, that's something I hear left and right. So let's talk about that. Is beef bad for you?
So no. And there's
Why
never been any kind of randomized controlled trials or high quality evidence to support that.
Okay.
That's it. It's simple. You talk about cancer risk. Smoking and cancer, when you think about what that is, there's a 2,000 to 3,000 increase in the risk of cancer if you smoke. All the data out in the atmosphere, if you eat animals, and the risk of cancer is considered not statistically significant.
So what's
Doesn't even
motivating them
exist.
to tell people that it's bad
industry.
for you? It's an industry.
It's industry.
It's an angle of fear that they can push into people's brains that convinces them to go along with their moral agenda.
Yes, it is a moral agenda.
So it's manipulating science to promote a moral agenda.
So, and they're thinking behind, because I've talked to many people that are like very responsible vegans, and they agree there's a big problem with the vegan culture.
Same with the patients and people that I take care of.
Right.
Yeah.
And they will tell you that they are encouraged. There's a lot of vegan leaders out there, I guess, or influencers that encourage people to push these things out because they're in their mind, it doesn't matter how the quote unquote murders stop. Whatever it takes to stop the murders, we're going to stop them. Stand in front of a truck, fucking burn places down, whatever the fuck it takes.
Right.
Okay? So when that's the mentality, it's okay then to just make shit up.
Right.
To polarize people and scare them and fear them and shame them into a decision. But I'm sorry, that's not fucking America.
And most people don't care about eating beef. They're going to eat a steak and be okay with it.
That's right.
So the other tactics are going to say it's bad for the environment and bad for your health.
Right.
And, there's scientists right now, and it's really interesting. I was trained by scientists that have a lot of integrity. Dr. Donald Layman, he's one of the OGs of protein metabolism, and he doesn't care what the answer is. He cares about the truth of it. You've got other guys like David Katz and this health initiative where they try to change the biological value of protein. Literally, the biological value, and say wheat protein is the same as animal protein.
But it's not.
But they have enough funding and enough money behind them that they do studies that literally are so false.
Well, that's
that they work to change the biological value.
What are the?
Well, hold on.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's something that people need to understand about studies.
Yeah.
Is when you fund a study, you could get any fucking answer you want.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. There's a million companies out there that will do a study for you privately and basically come out with the answer that you're looking for. It's not talked about. It's not spoken about. It's not in writing, but it's an unspoken thing. Like, hey, we're funding you. We kind of need this answer to come out. And then it comes out.
You know what I think of when you say that, Andy, is that, correct me if I'm wrong, Doc, but wasn't it a couple years ago, or maybe even just within the last year, that the American Heart Association came out with a thing that basically said that coconut oil was bad for you, and that corn oil was preferable.
Right. So
and most doctors, like especially functional doctors, were going, "Are you insane?"
Right.
Like this was so blatant propaganda.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
It's just rampant. So the American Heart Association gets money from processed foods like oatmeal, where on the other end of the spectrum is commodities like beef and egg. The money doesn't go to sources like the American Heart Association, and because they're under the umbrella of the USDA. They're very limited in what they can say. So all say beef could say is that it's part of a healthy diet, whereas processed foods can then give money to the American Heart Association, gives, millions, and then American Heart Associations will say, eat oatmeal.
That is that's scary.
Or
to be
eat
honest
corn
with you.
oil. And it's really interesting. The more integrity the science has, for example, it's very hard for industry science to come out.
Wow.
Industry science would be egg and beef and those kinds of things. It's very difficult to get poor studies published, because they're under so much scrutiny.
So you're saying that's a good thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed
to... I follow you, yeah.
Other aspects like Andy was talking about.
So I think the average consumer, I think this creates a problem, which is that we want to trust the people in authority. We want to. And so it's scary when we find out that there's all this. So I have a question, because, sometimes in our economy...
Problem, Vaughn, here is that the world that we live in... has always been lied to. What's happening now is that the transparency is so fucking easy now, and it's so easy to look beyond what people are saying or their marketing message or their this, that we're starting to figure out that we've been manipulated for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's really what's going on. So like, this isn't new. It's just new that we know about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. So this show is about telling the truth, and we do our best not to be biased either way, politically, Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. I feel like in America, in the history of America, sometimes there are certain parties that are more responsible for something bad in America than the other party. But in this case, with the issue of the way that this is working, where you had these big companies controlling the outcome of the. I feel like both parties are responsible for letting this happen. Is that true?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of industry and pharmaceutical funding that make things very, very confusing. And then you have Americans not doing their part.
Yeah.
Really not taking responsibility for themselves. You've got, like Andy was saying about the million follower 17-year-old girl just spewing because she read it on I don't know.
She read a Reddit post.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But now all of a sudden she's
or her
an expert.
favorite pop star
Right.
actually said, "Oh, this is horrible."
And dude, you know what?
Yeah.
If you want to do something because your favorite person does something, fucking do it. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying this at all. But know the facts. Like, dude, if you're going to do something, know that, like here's where the problem comes in my opinion. Let's say you have someone who really wants to be healthy. They want to be healthy. They're sick. They want to be healthy. Right. And then they read some of this shit, okay, that's put out that isn't true, and they say, fuck, all right, well, that sounds pretty good because they're ignorant to what's going on, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the person follows that and actually gets less healthy when their goal is to be more healthy. And then they get sick and die. That's not being considered by anybody, and it's not being talked about by anybody. And there's a social responsibility, I agree with exactly what you said, of American people to put a stop to this stuff because it's not right. People are getting sicker. They're not getting healthier. All right. You cannot just make up shit because you feel a certain way. And because of the way that the internet has become this thing now, there's no checks and balances against, what's the worst thing that can happen to you? Mm-hmm. Someone posts you on another page and says you're full of shit.
Yeah.
There's no fucking people policing this shit. And we have a big problem now because now it's getting into like certain groups of people have figured out that if they stomp and scream and shame and yell and fucking make embarrassments and actually just become a pain in the ass, the other people will just shut the fuck up.
Yep.
And that's a problem. That's a big problem. So we have a scenario now where, people are willing to shout people down that actually know the truth. And eventually the smart people just shut the fuck up.
They're just going to say, you know what? You guys fucking deal with it.
You do your own thing, bro.
You guys deal with it.
Dude, you're totally right. In fact, and this has become more and more a strategy of people who are out there promoting falsehood. That instead of, I'm going to guess about you, Doc, that if somebody came onto your page and said, listen, I respect your position. I disagree with it. Here's why I disagree. You would totally respect that person, but I'm guessing that that's not what you get. 9 times out of 10, you probably get, you hate animals. You're an animal hater.
Or
you're cruel.
Or
like it's you're there's not an engagement with the facts. There's name calling.
Or people that think they know what they're talking about,
right,
writing a whole bunch of stuff that's just not true, and then it's confusing everybody else.
Right. It's and because that person has some semblance of, they sound intelligent,
right. But I don't have time because I actually do the real work and see patients.
Yeah,
I don't have time to sit with all these
become
nonsense
a social warrior.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I don't have time.
Right. So that's the problem, right? We have a problem where a lot of motherfuckers who aren't doing shit become the social voices for all these different movements.
Yeah.
And the real experts, the people who know, they're actually busy doing real work.
Right.
Doing real work.
So now we have a scenario where there's so much misinformation being thrown out there because you have another group that's like, dude, I'm not going to sit there and argue with someone on the internet. Like I had a guy come at me the other day on something I said about supporting Trump, okay? Like, and he came at me with all, oh, dude, I love you, but you're fucking insane for, and then he came in with, you put kids in cages and this and that and this. And I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, well, be specific on what you're saying. Because if he did that, I don't know about it.
Right.
Right.
And then, so he came in with some more stuff. And I said, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, why do you think that? I'm literally trying to figure out, like, is there some shit I don't know where this motherfucker put some motherfuckers in a cage? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
No, it wasn't that at all.
I thought the same thing.
It was just nonsense. And I finally said, he finally come back after I asked him a couple questions, and he said, dude, you're just toying with me. No, I'm not toying with you.
Right.
I'm trying to make you understand that what you're saying is complete bullshit.
Right.
And that's the problem. People don't want to accept that they're full of shit.
Yeah. And I've never seen it before. It's like this confirmation bias where you could literally say the sky is blue and someone would say, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's really not.
You say it is.
The fucking world's flat.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, come on.
People don't want to deal with reality.
I had this recent experience. I was on national television on this show called The Doctors. And, a lot of the listeners probably don't know about it because maybe it's...
I saw it. I looked it up.
All right. Okay. So they invited me out there and I knew what I was getting into. It was 5 liberal doctors and me. And when I say liberal, they had an agenda and they were very plant-based, which is totally fine. And I would literally say, and this is a super simple concept, animal protein is different than plant protein. I mean, it's not, it's
fucking fat.
It's correct. It's not mind-blowing. And the guy was just shaking his head.
How can you argue?
No, it's not.
How the fuck can
it's
this guy was a doctor?
Yeah. I mean, he is, but he is
How can you say that?
deep in his agenda.
Yeah.
You know?
But how
His
can you
ideology is driving his...
He knows
his rationality.
It's
yeah.
So he has to literally know what he's saying is not true.
I'm sure
and
he
saying
does.
it anyway.
I'm sure he does.
Dude, see, that's fucked up.
I
Those people
understand.
should
And
be
then,
in
but
jail.
so now, I'm on a show with these 5 other physicians who are all plant-based, and I'm giving them facts, and I'm saying, this is the issue. We're not over-consuming protein. It's not bad for us. We've never had any studies, any randomized control trials to determine that it is. And he said, well, we don't need randomized control trials to determine that running with scissors is bad for our kids.
That's the logic?
Yes. And I said, but we have randomized control trials that support these things are healthy. So everybody
crazy.
listening, and then the way they edit it. So then, here I am trying to speak up to protect people. Everybody listening, including the doctors, just shut it down. And that is the problem because from the top down, it's wrong. It's lies.
Well, we live in a world, dude, right now, look, man.
People don't even have a chance.
No, they don't, because people are so fucking narcissistic and full of themselves.
They don't even have a chance.
They're not willing to say, you know what? I don't really know anything about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
Like, dude,
to say that's
let
not
me
my
tell you
bailiwick.
too.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you too. Dude, motherfucker, if you think that you're going to bullshit your way through life and somehow come out the other end being successful, you are fucking sorely mistaken. Because you will get to a level where the people that are further down the road than you are going to recognize you're full of shit, and they're going to kick you off the ladder. Like climbing the success ladder in any area, whether you be building a movement for better, whatever. Okay, you have a moral agenda that you want to push, and you start to make up science about shit that isn't true. The smart people are going to fucking look at you and say, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Which actually hurts the cause because you want the smart people to actually say, hey, I'm going to adopt this. And if they would just fucking tell the truth and say, dude, I just believe this is the way to do it. I don't believe in killing animals. Some smart people would actually say, you know what? I actually agree with that. But because they lie and because they push this shit, it's impossible to get people that are actually intelligent to buy into it, okay, and at the scale that you need for it to actually spread. So these motherfuckers, whoever's running the vegan movement, you motherfuckers should hire me to show you how to do this because you're fucking it up.
Please don't do that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's if they would just tell the truth and say, dude,
and just say, hey, we just don't believe in it
I
because
don't
it's
believe in
morally,
it.
but not,
That's a good enough answer.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
I don't disagree with you at all, Andy. But I do think that the other layer of this is that it's not just about people who are smart. It's about people who are smart and are willing to tell the truth. Because clearly, those doctors that were talking to you, they're smart people. They're just not willing to tell the truth.
No,
I think
that they're brainwashed. They're
You think so?
brainwashed. They're 100% brainwashed.
Dude,
They have a belief and they are not willing to say, so I think part of being a good business person, being a good physician, being a good person is willing to get information and go, you know what? Maybe I need to reevaluate that.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe I've been wrong this whole fucking time.
And
By the way, that's one of the number one reasons that as a person of faith, I regularly read things that atheists write. I regularly read books by atheists. I regularly read things.
I do the same thing in business.
Because I want to be challenged in what I believe.
So I read things from people that I don't necessarily fucking think I agree with or believe. And what I usually find out is once I find out where they're coming from, I start to understand what their message is about. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that, dude, society as a whole is so fucking arrogant. Like, you look at people who have cars and like, I get called fucking all that shit. Cocky, arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Motherfucker, if you knew where the fuck I came from, you'd understand why I'm the way I'm at. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I fucking sweated and bled and fucking grinded to get here. And guess what? I'm fucking proud of it. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. All right? But what people don't understand is they want to jump ahead of the line and get to the fucking end and be right about everything. And what they don't get is that, dude, that's not how you get there. You don't get to the fucking end by guessing your way or bullshitting your way through. You have to consider the fact that you fucking don't know shit. Because I don't know shit, and I'm doing pretty fucking awesome in life. You know a lot about your thing, but in every other area, you're willing to learn. That's what makes you smart.
I need to learn. I mean...
But I listen to these other dudes' stuff that I don't agree with, and I'm like, I look into it and I see and I get it, and I'm like, fuck, okay, all right, I kind of see that. Mm-hmm. But then I have a basis to like evaluate against. All right, well, his experience, he came from here. This is what he learned. This is probably why he thinks that. When I did this back in there, this is how this worked, and I start to come to an understanding, and I can evaluate if this guy is actually intelligent or not by the way he presents his fucking information. Mm-hmm. That's what people don't understand. When you're just spewing shit out, just because you have all the people that feel the same as you supporting you doesn't mean that there's far more people that think you're full of fucking shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's going to keep you from getting where you want to go. So you're getting, I call it feedback mirage. You're getting a fake feedback based upon the information you're offering in a like-minded group, when in reality, you should be offering the information in an unbiased group and see what the fuck they say.
Yeah. By the way, that's my internal struggle when people say, "Well, this has been peer reviewed." Yeah, but
by who?
What happens if all the peers have the same bias? That's the problem. Like, and I
that's
freely
what
admit
we're
I
seeing.
don't know everything about the academic study of.
That's actually what we're seeing. The quality of evidence. We've seen mass global health recommendations made based on poor quality evidence.
Yeah, but that's social pressure. What that is that's motherfuckers getting entangled in a certain culture a little bit. And then they feel pressure to conform with that culture's message. And so we end up with a situation where we don't get the real information because people are afraid to buck the system.
Yeah,
it is true. So I'm on a lot of email lists to physicians, and the information that they're getting fed is totally wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're the ones that are disseminating. It is scary.
That's scary.
It literally will kill people.
Yes.
Yep.
It, as the trajectory of aging, spending 2 years at WashU, I was at the bedside of these guys dying.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people. Mm-hmm. None of these people talking about this have been.
Yeah.
Even the physicians that are family medicine, you're not at the bedside seeing what this bad information is.
Well, and then we're not taking it into consideration on top of all this shit that we've just gone over. We're not even considering the fact of the pressure to sell certain things, AKA pharmaceutical drugs, to people.
Right.
So we're not people have the misconception of what the medical fucking world really is. They think that when they go to the doctor, that doctor has their best interests in mind. I think that's a reasonable thought. Don't you think people should have that thought?
Well, I do, but I think that the way medicine is it's very cookie cutter, so they don't know. I really believe that the physician doesn't necessarily know. They are not taught to think.
Yeah.
They're taught to recognize patterns, which it does make a good physician, but they're not thought to think outside the box.
But we have really been brainwashed because, I mean, this is anecdotal, but this is I know this is true across the board in America. Whether it's my wife serving in metropolitan St. Louis or small rural Manhattan, Kansas, 9 times out of 10, somebody comes in, she's trying to diagnose them, and they're like, just give me a pill. Just give me a pill. And they get mad at her if she starts asking them questions about lifestyle.
Vaughn,
they get mad.
That's the indoctrinated culture of this whole thing. Dude, did you know that fucking in most countries, pharmaceutical companies cannot advertise directly to the consumer? Did you know that? Why the fuck should a pharmaceutical company be able to advertise to fucking you?
That's a good question.
You don't know shit. So why should they advertise to you? That should tell everybody in the world right now what the fucking agenda is. The agenda is, guess what? To sell shit.
Yeah.
And so we have a big problem with the whole system because we have this, we as Americans, okay, and I know there's international listeners, but we're Americans, so I'm going to fucking use that frame of reference. We, as Americans, I believe, have a reasonable right to think that when we go to the doctor, that woman or man knows what the fuck they are talking about. And they don't. And so what they do is they get educated by the pharmaceutical companies about these things. Then the pharmaceutical companies runs ads to the consumer. So they're hitting it from 2 fronts. They're teaching the coach and the player what fucking equipment they should use. That's not okay, dude. And we have a government that's corrupt because they take all these fucking bribes and junkets and all this shit from the pharmaceutical industry because no one else has the money to fucking fund the shit. When you have a pill, see, this is another thing. I'm in the supplement business. People don't understand this. The pill that we make costs the same as that $900 fucking pill that they are selling you. I'm not saying it's the same shit because it's not. What I'm telling you is the raw ingredients cost the fucking same.
Right.
So how the fuck could you not have money to pay off everybody you want when you're charging $900 for a single fucking serving of basically what is a different kind of supplement? That's what we're talking about. And on top of that, when we have a scenario where shit doesn't work or shit isn't perfect or shit isn't like super healthy, they're still selling it because the margin's there. It's fucked up, dude.
It's crazy.
And people who blindly think that when they go to their doctor, they're getting served the right way, dude, you better do your fucking homework.
Yes.
And it's scary.
Yes. Do your homework.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So before we shift gears, transition to a little different direction, I want to hold your feet to the fire just for a second. In very simple layman terms, let's the average American does love animals, right? So what if somebody said, listen, doc, I'm all other things being equal, I'd rather Bambi not have to die so that I can eat, venison, right?
You would probably not be my patient.
Well, but so
Yeah.
Playing devil's advocate, why can't I eat the Impossible Burger? Why can't I eat plant-based protein? Why can't I just pop some edamame or
you
whatever?
can. Is this an ethical question? You can,
But I mean, in terms of is meat, animal protein, why? Tell me why it's so much better and why I can't just subsist on a plant-based
So you can,
diet.
but you're going to need to supplement.
Okay.
Animal protein feeds the necessary building blocks for animals. We're animals.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Right? So you said make it simple.
We're not plants. Yeah.
No. Plant feeds plant. If you want to do a plant-based diet, you can do it, but it's going to take a ton of supplementation. You're going to have to monitor your calories. You're going to have a much lower density food source. Can be done. But the question is, do you want to be optimized or do you just want to
subsist on?
Yeah.
Okay. So the way I would understand this,
animal-based products are nutrient dense.
I'm not a science guy. But
We've been eating it for 2.5 million years. At least it's what evolved our brains.
So I'm not a science guy, but the way I would understand what you just said is not only are we what we eat, but we need to eat what we are.
Vaughn, in amino acids, okay, when you don't get a complete amino acid profile, you have to take other amino acids to supplement. Okay, and the amino acid profile of a plant and an animal are completely fucking different.
Yep.
All right, and so what those do is those initiate muscle protein synthesis in a different way, which means the plant and the animal are going to have different reactions inside your body. Can you explain just for the science people, because there is a bunch, the difference between the two different kinds of aminos of a plant and an animal? Because I know people are going to say, well, she just said plant feeds plant. That's fucking stupid. Well, dude, we're trying to make it so regular people can understand it.
When you think about a protein, the differentiating factor when you think about its biological value is its amino acid profile. The branched chain amino acids are essential amino acids, which means we don't make it. And we need those at certain doses to trigger what Andy was saying is muscle protein synthesis. And you're like, well, why do I care about that? Because you care about muscle. Muscle is the organ of longevity. It's actually a legitimate organ. Muscle is not just...
It's not like going to the beach.
No, it's not. It's so much more advanced than that.
Your heart's a muscle.
And so is muscle. It's actually an endocrine organ that when you secrete it, it secretes things called myokines. It's pretty cool, right? And that actually is the key. It's the organ of longevity. So plants make the amino acid profile in the correct doses, for example, those branched chains, to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Whereas plants, while they do have the same amino acids, they're in vastly different amounts. So to simplify...
You said plants have the amino acids to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. You meant meat.
Yes. Yeah. So plants, it would require 4 cups of quinoa, 4 to 6 cups of quinoa to get the amino acids enough to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. So you need 4 to 6 cups of quinoa to equal 1 small chicken breast.
Wow. That's crazy.
Simply put, that the amino acids necessary, like those branched chain amino acids, those found in animal sources, stimulate muscle.
Muscle does all kinds of things besides making you look cool at the beach.
That's right.
Okay?
It's responsible,
for literally all kinds of different things.
Yes.
Okay? Like...
Everything about aging is related to muscle.
Yeah.
Glucose metabolism.
It helps keep...
everything.
It helps keep obesity in check.
Yes.
I mean, it has to do with your metabolic rate.
Yep.
Like, basically fucking everything that keeps you, like, alive comes from this.
Comes from that.
Right. So when we get this advice that you should just eat plants and animal protein is dangerous and cause cancer, you literally destroy this tissue. Unless you are eating a certain amount of volume or supplementing. You can supplement with, vegan protein powder. That totally works. But it's much more difficult to live a life like that and to be optimized.
Let's talk about something productive just for what dietary recommendations would you make to a vegan person listening right now? Because there's a lot of them to help them be more healthy. And let's say let's just talk about this like logical adults.
Yeah.
They're going to continue to be vegan because... They believe in the moral standard of what vegans represent. What would be some good things for them to do to live that way and be healthy?
So they, number one, need to manage their calories.
Right.
Excess calories, excess carbohydrates. The majority of a vegan diet is almost all carbohydrates. That is devastating for people. Unless you do a kind of keto style vegan, which is a high fat vegan diet with almost no protein. So protein is really the black sheep of the macronutrient family and the most valuable. So these people need to do shakes. That's it. It's the best way to do it. Vegan protein shakes. That's what I recommend for my patients. Or they can add in branched chain amino acids, a scoop to say tofu. And then you need B12, zinc, folate, selenium, and you need to test. You need to test their blood markers.
That's something people just definitely don't do enough of, including me.
Okay, I was actually, you were on my list. I have a strategy.
You give me the fucking evil eye.
Oh, yeah. No.
So,
how many times do you have to ask for my blood work?
No. I've got an alternative strategy now this time. I had an agenda for what I'm... Oh, yes.
That's
You're just going to like stab me and take it?
No. I had an agenda for some testing that I wanted.
All right,
I've been working... This is like the running joke for 2 years or something, just trying to... So I've come up
I
with...
will never give blood when she asks.
I have come up with a different strategy.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go deeper on this issue because, when Andy and I met, we for the first time ever, we'd spent like 30, before we ever got into business, we talked about 30 minutes about how much we both loved our dogs. Okay, so we're big animal lovers.
Yeah, I get it.
The other day I came across by accident, a video where guys were feeding rabbits, like a boa constrictor, and feeding rabbits to a boa constrictor, and you'll see people they'll take videos of like feeding goldfish to piranhas. To be honest with you, I struggle with that because I'm like, I would never take joy in some animal. Like I can't wrap my head around people who take joy in watching animals being fed to other animals. I just don't get it. Even though I do think it is natural, it's part of the natural ecosystem. So that being said, do you think this really comes down to in people's desire to be compassionate to animals? Have we lost some rationality in terms of, guys, animals are important, but they are not human beings?
Totally. It's outrageous.
Talk about that a little bit.
It's just outrageous. Guys, they're missing the boat.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me you're going to trade your life for a chicken?
Right. It's a look.
It's just
it's
a
harsh reality,
yeah.
right? Like that people don't like. Look at fucking nature, man. Mm-hmm. Like animals kill other animals and they fucking eat them.
Right.
All right. And people don't like that. They just don't like it. Like, but because we don't like something doesn't mean it's not true or the way it is.
Right.
That's the problem. That's the fundamental problem that we have in this. It's not just this particular issue. It's really all the issues that we have going on. We have the bottom 2% of the fucking internet basically making the rules for the other 98% because they're the loudest and the least educated, and they don't mind bashing the fuck out of people to get them to do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's wrong, okay? We have a situation where people are not okay with looking at the facts and accepting reality.
Right.
In reality, how does nature work? It's a fucking cycle. It's an ecosystem. Guess who's at the top of that motherfucking chain? We are. Okay? So people don't like that. They don't like that, right? We have dogs. I love my dogs. I love my dogs, dude. I love them as much as more than I love anybody in this room. But I'm still eating some fucking steak tonight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I know it's what the fuck I need to eat.
Right.
Okay?
To stay alive.
To do what I'm doing. Now, I can compartmentalize and understand that there is a dichotomy of these things. The problem is that most people don't understand what a dichotomy is. And there's two sides and a nuance to every single thing. People want to plant their flag on one side of it and act like it's a fucking fact, when in reality it just isn't. It's just not a fact. And this goes for all kinds of things. You know, people making up shit about, you know, fucking politics or veganism or whatever. I mean, fuck, dude. Me Too movement, anything. Like we can make up fucking plant flags on things that we like, but the truth is, guys, is there's exceptions to everything, and we as a culture have a problem understanding that because we don't like to see, like what you're saying, where a rabbit gets swallowed up by a snake. I mean, some people like it.
Right.
I don't like it either. I think it's fucking, I don't like it. I don't hunt. You know, I don't kill shit. But I
just don't get the entertainment value. Like,
look,
why
dude,
would somebody entertain
Now, I
themselves?
totally understand hunters. Like, just because I don't hunt doesn't mean I don't fucking respect hunters. And that's the problem. It's like you're either on my team or you're fucking against me.
Right.
And that's an attitude that's been going on in America for a number of years now because people have figured out that if they yell and scream and pout and shame people enough, that they'll just go do whatever else. And what they don't understand is those people that you're silencing are not changing. They're continuing to live their life the same way, and you're actually not getting any traction by doing what you're doing. You would get far more success by having real conversations. And this also comes from people not thinking that their logic or their reasoning or their cause is actually valid. They don't think it's valid.
Right.
Like if they don't think it's valid and you don't think you have enough ammunition to get people to understand, why the fuck are you screaming about it?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, it's even more than people aren't changing when you yell at them. I say they get more entrenched.
But what about
like
just
if somebody yells at you,
contributing?
you're like, screw you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna double down and get even more entrenched in my position.
You know, and the issues are, why not contribute?
Yeah.
I look at some of these comments and I look and see what people are doing, and I just think, you know, you are not contributing. You are not contributing to make the world a better place.
Right. Well, and there's a drastic discrepancy between how people behave in real life and how they behave online.
I have a story about that.
Okay.
I was on a panel recently, and it was, you know, whatever, some people in the public eye, and one of the guys on the panel, he didn't know it, had sent me a whole bunch of hate mail, had messaged me on Instagram saying about how I was killing animals, and he was new and vegan.
But he didn't realize that was you.
And then, correct, he was like, I would love to come get some blood work.
That's hilarious.
I would. It's so nice to meet you.
Yeah.
He had no idea. And of course I remembered him because I was like, who is this asshole?
Right.
Yeah.
On my Instagram telling me that I should take down this post immediately because
Right.
the Impossible Burger is different than just beef and there's so much more in beef. By the way, there's not.
No.
There's not. It's regulated. It doesn't. It can't have those things in it.
Right.
How about that?
It's ridiculous. Like, dude, whatever happened, why can't we just have conversations? Hey, I don't really agree with your position. I like you, but like, dude, tell me why you believe what you believe.
Yeah.
Why can we not do that? What is so hard about that?
I have no idea.
Somebody's profiting off of us being angry at each other. That's all I'm saying.
Fuck.
Somebody's
There's
profiting off
there's
of us yelling at each other.
Lots of motherfuckers profiting.
So just kind of getting back to this whole issue of the value and dignity of animals. So I'll just be free with my bias. So I am coming from a position of faith. I believe God created, I believe God loves animals and created them. I believe that human beings are different from animals because we have souls and we're made in the image of God. But I was talking to somebody like on a practical level, like completely aside from all the spiritual and everything. On a practical level, I was talking to one of these like really intense, vegan types who was against all cruelty to the animals. And I was like, well, so I have a question. Like, are all animals as valuable as human beings? Oh, yeah. So like, it's not just that a tiger and a lion is valuable, but like a frog and a cat, they're all as valuable as human beings.
I think it's a respect for life.
Yeah,
issue.
Yes. But one of the things
by the way,
said,
I relate to because like, dude,
no, I get it too.
I fucking hate snakes, dude.
Yeah, I hate them.
I fucking hate them. I
you
still
and me both.
don't run them over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if I see one in the road and there ain't nobody around, we live in a rural-ish area. I'll stop and I'll fucking scoot it off the road. I do that if there's a turtle in the road. I don't run the motherfucker over. I fucking stop and I move him to the side of the road. I love animals.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But I was talking to this guy and I said, listen, though, I want to really, truly understand your position. And I don't want to misrepresent vegans, but I think this is their position. I said, are you literally saying that animals are worth just as much as human beings? Yes. I said, so if I accidentally hit a rabbit on the road, that should be prosecuted with the same legal force that, killing a person, vehicular homicide or manslaughter. Yes.
Shut the fuck up.
Dude, I have talked to a ton of people like that. Like, that is their mentality. And again, if you're a vegan, DM me, tell me you feel otherwise. But that is the mentality that they want it part of the legal code.
Yeah, well, that's
that
fucking
part of the
insane.
legal process that this kind of like you can't do. Listen, if somebody attacks or tortures animals, I think they need to go to jail. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, animal
I think
cruelty?
they need to go to jail. Absolutely.
Dude, you should. Those people
but
who
I
abuse
don't think they
fucking
should
animals
be
for fun.
executed.
Oh bullshit! I do.
Well, I don't. But
If people fucking abuse animals. And
I think
shit,
they should be thrown in jail. But I hear you.
Fuck them.
But I get what you're saying. But regardless, I mean, I often ask people like walk through the practical implications. But again, what qualifies an animal as an animal? Should we not have pesticides or should we not have any sort of pest control? I mean, are cockroaches animals? Do they have the same value as human beings?
We're going into an era of society, if it doesn't fucking change soon, where we will not be able to say fucking anything. We won't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
It's like fucking communist Russia back in the fucking 70s and 80s. Okay?
Yep.
And people don't fucking get it. They think it's a fucking joke. They think it's cute. They think it's funny. They laugh about it. They say, Andy, why do you get so upset about it? Well, because I fucking know where we're going. And you ain't going to like it.
Right.
Okay? We can't even joke with each other anymore. We can't even tell a fucking joke because it might fucking offend people. The best comedian, in my opinion, in our era is fucking Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle won't come out and do comedy shows because every motherfucking time he tells a joke, you motherfuckers freak the fuck out and act like bitches. Mm-hmm. That's sad. Dude, Dave Chappelle's the best thing for fucking racism and all these other things because he fucking laughs about it. And if we can't laugh at each other, we can't even fucking connect. You know what I'm saying? So, dude, people's fucking vaginas and fucking little bitty tiny dicks, so I'll throw that in there to be fucking fair, are fucking everybody else. Like, I want to go see Dave Chappelle. I want to fucking laugh. I want to be able to tell funny jokes to my friends that are fucking black and have a good time without us fucking hating each other. I want to fucking do that. But why can't we? Because people get their fucking feelings hurt for no fucking reason. It's not right, dude. This ain't America anymore. It's become something else. And dude, all of you guys that support us and me and all this shit, this ain't fucking super ultra right-wing Trump fucking shit. I'm talking about motherfucking America. I'm talking about everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So why can't we just fucking get along? It's not that fucking hard. And the truth of the matter is that if you go out in the real world, people do get along.
Yep.
It's only online where they don't. Like, dude, I don't walk into fucking my gym or these places I go on a daily basis and get people saying to me, hey, Andy, fuck you. Like, it doesn't fucking happen. Like, there's a, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Dude, for me, I just grew up in an era where, like, dude, there was always consequences of the shit you said. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you don't fucking say. And now we have a whole generation of people that don't think that there's consequences for what they say, which causes a whole nother problem. Yes, you're free to say whatever the fuck you want. This is America. But there are consequences to everything you say, whether you understand the consequences or not. That's something people have a really hard time with. If I don't agree with what you're saying, now there's a problem. Now we have a personal problem. Can I not just say, hey, Vaughn, I don't really know why the fuck you'd want to live in Kansas, bro. Can't we just say that? Isn't that okay?
That. I'm not offended
by that. And you can
that.
say to me, hey, bro, you know what? I don't know why the fuck you like what you like.
Right.
But does that mean we can't be fucking friends?
No.
We're still great friends.
Absolutely.
And we disagree on all kinds of shit. Mm-hmm. Okay? But people don't have the capacity to do this anymore because their pride and their narcissistic behavior has now attached them to an outcome that they've decided is right when in fact the information that's out there says it isn't right. And they don't, their egos and their pride and their image of themselves is so fucking fragile that they aren't willing to say, hey, maybe I'm thinking about this the wrong way. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of you guys are in entrepreneurship listening to this shit, you will never be successful financially if that's your attitude towards everything or anything.
100%.
You'll fucking lose.
I like that you brought up this issue because it relates to the other topic that I was going to raise, which is that, and I texted you about this the other day, dude. And there's a new survey out, and there's been several surveys that bear out this same result. And I read about this in NPR magazine, but basically, there's an epidemic sweeping the United States.
Wait. Hold on, dude. NPR magazine.
I meant NPR. I something online.
Wait.
NPR is National Public Radio, right?
I'm very aware of what the fuck it is. Right. So,
hello, you're listening to NPR.
This is
with
what you
Andy
listen
Frisella.
to, bro?
No, dude, this is what I saw online.
This explains a lot.
No, this is what I saw online.
Like, do you dance to that shit?
Oh man. NPR.
I mean, is this where you learn all your skills?
No, but NPR is kind of it's kind of good. You know, sometimes I struggle with going to sleep. So you listen to those guys?
Yeah.
Hello, you're listening to All Things Considered with NPR Radio.
I have so like AM radio type vibe.
Yeah.
I cannot listen to that shit.
Yeah.
Like that shit makes my head hurt. Like it makes me feel sick. I think one time when I was a kid, I got car sick in the car because my dad used to listen to that shit. And I think it like conditioned me. So now when I hear that talk, I automatically get this nauseating. I'm being serious, dude. I'm not being a smart ass. I get a nauseating feeling when I hear people talk like that. Like it makes me
talk like what?
Like what you were just talking about.
Like what I just did?
Yeah,
oh, man, that's a bummer because I was going to go off on a tangent because for most of my life, I have actually not really liked my voice. But lately, I've been getting this feedback.
You have a great voice,
bro.
That's not what
man.
I'm saying. I'm saying.
No, I know that's not what you're saying. But lately, I've been given this feedback that people actually like my voice. So I was actually going to ask you if I could do like a long monologue and say, Lord have mercy, 2 hours of commercial-free Andy Frisella.
Dude, you know where our podcast would be if we fucking did that? It would be in the trash.
Yeah, it would be. But anyway, what I was going to say is, so there's this epidemic sweeping the country. This actually kind of boggles my mind. All right, I mean, I understand why it's true, but it still boggles my mind. The research concludes that 3 out of 5 Americans. Now, Dr. Gabrielle, you're very smart. I don't know what the percentage is, but 3 out of 5, that's a lot. 3 out of 5 Americans actually admits to being very
60%.
60%. Okay, that's a lot.
Let me tell you how to figure that out.
That's a lot. Okay, tell me how to
So
figure
you
that
take
out.
the 5 and
Yeah.
you multiply it by 2.
Okay.
That's 10, right?
You're smart, dude.
And
I
what's
can't.
3 times 2?
3 times 2 is 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Get it?
Oh, okay.
60%.
That makes sense. I'll be honest with you. I waited 4 years for my college to offer a math class that I thought I could pass.
Listen, bro. It's okay, because I am no fucking mathematician.
All I want is to count my Benjamins.
That's
You know,
right.
that's
I know
the
how
only
to
math
add,
I care
subtract,
about.
motherfucker.
That's right.
I'm actually shocked I knew that.
yeah. So anyway, 3 out of 5 Americans admit to being pretty significantly lonely. So the two demographics within the American people that are most affected by the loneliness, the first one won't surprise you. It's geriatric. It's older people. Obviously, you get older, a lot of your friends die. America has this sort of bad habit of sending off the people who helped build this country into nursing homes and then neglecting them. That's a bad thing, but that's a topic for another day. But the other demographic was like the millennials and Generation Z and all these. So my question is, how much of this loneliness epidemic is connected to what we've already been talking about for the last couple? I mean, what do you think? Is that a stretch? Because you were talking about like people wanting to be right. You were talking about how we're not even allowed to say anything anymore.
I think people spend way too much time, bro, on the fucking internet.
Yeah.
In general. And like when you do, especially because like people are building companies and creating jobs and doing all these wonderful things with the technology that we have. But man, that also requires us to spend, a lot of people 3, 4, fucking sometimes 8 hours a day online. When you do that, you're limiting human interaction. Dude, I could tell you for sure, like, because I struggle with depression. You guys all know that. I talk about it openly because I don't want people to think they're alone. But I could tell you for sure, like, one of the things that triggers me to go down the dark path is to spend too much time, not enough time with real people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not,
Yep.
I don't think it's too much time. I think there's a way to balance it. Like when I spend a lot of time online, which I do, and I also balance it with like human interactions and jokes and hanging out with my buddies. I'm not saying I'm not going to the bar. I'm saying like even just here,
Right.
like sitting down, having a conversation where we sit around and bullshit or whatever, where we'll fuck around. Like that makes me feel better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. Like, actually, because dude, we have this thing as humans where we automatically assume the worst,
Yeah.
And so building a brand online is very difficult. Okay. So when you first start out and you start putting out all these things that are important to you and no one cares, it's a very fucking harsh reality for people. They're like, fuck. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I got like 4 people that give a shit. Like that sucks. But that's not true though, because those people may not have seen your post. Those people might be doing other things. Maybe they're not even on the internet right now. And so we've created this reality that isn't real. It's a false reality. Is there real aspects of it? Fuck yeah, there is. Absolutely. There's real opportunity. There's real connections made for sure. But people are putting so much attention and attachment to the likes and the shares and the comments, and it's driving people literally fucking insane. And the truth is like, dude, no one gives a fuck how many likes or comments you get in real life. Like, I don't walk into fucking work and say, hey, hey, motherfucker, do you know that fucking 1.5 million motherfuckers follow me? You know what I'm saying? Like,
how's your day today? Oh, dude, I got 700 likes on my recent
bro,
post.
but that's real shit that happens though in the younger generation.
I know
That's the shit they're talking about.
I admit I can't wrap my head around that,
dude.
I
No,
can't.
but look, man, it's. I'm not talking shit. It's a problem because
it's all they've ever known.
yes,
Yeah.
And so, dude, we have this problem where these younger people. Or people who are just new to the internet, they get a false sense of loneliness because, dude,
It's a comparison game.
correct. It's all it is, a comparison.
And we're designed for real human interaction. The eyes, when you connect with each other or a baby, that's a nervous system.
yeah.
The eyes are part of your nervous system.
Well,
and
that's
it's
why when you look someone
Yes.
literally like, dude, next time you're talking to someone, take a fucking fraction of a second and look at them in the fucking eye.
Yep.
Not their middle of their nose, not their eyelid.
Not their.
Yeah, not their boobies.
What are you referring to?
Yeah, none of that shit. their fucking eye and like look at their eye and look into it. And it's very uncomfortable when you start to do that because it's hard because you're not used to it. But dude, I'm telling you, if you just look people in the fucking eye, your life will change.
Yep.
It will change because you're going to make better friends. And I'm going to tell you another thing. If you're lonely, like as a dude or a chick that's lonely, I mean, you're not getting fucking laid, you can fix it pretty easy by looking motherfuckers in the eye. Okay? That's the truth.
That is true.
You have if you're trying to flirt with a person of the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever you're into, and you look at their fucking eyeball, like right into it, like you're looking into their fucking soul, people like that shit.
Yeah.
Man. It makes you feel connected.
That's not just like common sense. The reality is that there's been all sorts of psychological studies where they literally took they described them as average attractiveness strangers, total strangers, and the researchers would put two people in a room, and usually it wasn't like same-sex couples, it was like opposite sex, and they said gaze at each other for 2 to 5 minutes, and they did that. We're talking like total strangers, and up to 89% of the people that did that not only registered a deep feeling of connection with the person, but even registered romantic feelings. Just by looking at people. That's why Dracula looked at women in the eye, that he like looked at them really close and then he
Man, you started looking like Dracula there for a second. That was some weird shit. The fuck is that?
But no, dude. So no, you're right. I mean, I think we've lost I think the internet has really, really hurt interpersonal connection.
Yeah.
And what about you? What do you think?
I mean, I totally agree. We're humans. We're meant for human connection, not meant for cyborg connection.
Right. Right. Plus, this is kind of going
I don't know, man. You see some of these fucking sex dolls they're making now? They fucking look real, dude. Like real. Like, dude, there's this thing now. No, I'm being serious. There's this thing now where these companies are going out and trying to find these internet influencers to make real life sex dolls of them for them to sell.
That's crazy.
That's happening right now.
I have not seen that.
I just think that's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, the first I saw an ad pop up for one or some shit, dude, I thought it was a real person.
Yeah.
Like for real. I bought 3 of them.
I did read an article, and to me this is sad. Like, this is just, I don't know. I read an article that men are less interested in relationships with women these days because they're just jacking off to porn. Huh? Like, literally, that's all they're doing. They're like, I don't need to have a relationship. I don't need to get married. I don't need to date anybody because I just stay home and play.
Well, fuck, man.
Like, I mean, that's crazy to me.
Dude,
that's crazy.
It's weird. Like, look, dude, it's weird. Like, dude, the social media is going to become that.
I know.
That's what it's going to become. Like, dude, it's already becoming it. We see it happening. We have these, like, off-site websites now where all these people are doing all this shit. You can go pay to watch it.
Yeah.
Dude, it's fucking, like, look, man, I'm all for do whatever the fuck makes you happy. Like, whatever you're into, fucking... Unless it's like little kids, be into it. All right? That's whatever. But you don't have to like show that shit for people to approve of you. Like, and that's what we fall into, right? Like, it's like, dude, we see this with the internet culture. Like, it's gone from like, I show like the side of my ass cheek, you know what I'm saying? To like, now it's like, people are bent over with a thong with that fucking ass right in your face, and you can like see their butthole where the thong cuts it in half, which is where the term turd cutter comes from, just so you know.
I've never heard that term.
Turd cutter?
No.
Oh yeah, that's
I just learned something new.
That's an old school fucking Midwestern term for thong underwear. Turd cutters.
That is funny.
Anyway, yeah. That's what we called it.
So,
you think that's funny, DJ?
Have you heard of that?
I got one of our security guys, one of my security guys, my personal security, sitting here, and he's just having a good old time laughing at us.
That's great. So, I mean, while we're even talking about the dynamics of men and women, I'll kind of raise the issue that I was going to actually raise at the beginning, but the way this unfolded it was a little different from what I planned. But basically, another, I'm Mr. Survey today, but there's also a survey out now that says that one of the reasons that people are not getting married as much is that women are complaining that there is a lack of good options among men. There's a lack of exceptional or desirable men to get married to.
Yeah, because they're all full of shit. That goes back to what the fuck I was talking about. Like, dude, how are you going to fucking want to marry someone that's literally made up this fake-ass life?
Is that? I mean, would you guys say is that just a woman problem that there's
No.
lack of exceptional men?
It's exceptional humans.
I agree.
Okay.
It's not, there is something to be said for having integrity and being a good human and caring and wanting to become a better person.
Yeah.
The good news is that it's never been easier to meet someone because
That is true.
If you to stand out, because if you actually reflect things that are desirable, it's going to stand out because most people just aren't reflecting those things. So it's a good opportunity.
You mean you're going to distinguish yourself? from the crowd?
Absolutely, by just being a normal human being.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many girls I talk to, like, that say, dude, I just want a normal dude. Like, I just want a normal motherfucking dude. Like, I don't need a dude wearing fucking super cool suits and, pretending he's in the cool kids club and all this shit. Like, they don't want that shit. They're just like, I just want a normal fucking dude, a guy that goes to the fucking job, takes care of himself. He's a good dude. That. But that's not what's happening, right? It's not cool to be that right now. Everybody's got to be somebody.
Yeah. You got to be a social media influencer.
Yeah, dude. Why can't we just be like, yeah, that guy's a good dude?
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, look, I love women. This is not an attack on women. But if I were a single man, like, dude, I could tell you this. I look at Emily and I look at all the shit that's out there and I'm like, fuck, dude, I picked good.
Dude, I feel the same way about my wife. I mean, women are crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of women, not all women, but they're crazy.
But I'm just saying, like, dude, it's a relative, it's a relative standard. Like, I think there's a lot of, I think women, if that's the poll on women, I think if you polled men, they would say the same shit about women. Mm-hmm. I think they would.
Probably
because, dude,
would.
no man, look, dude, there's a difference between a girl that you want to fuck and a girl you want to marry. It's the same for girls. Girls look at guys and they say, this guy's hot. I'd probably have sex with him, but I wouldn't marry him. We all look at people like that. So I would say what you said is correct. It's human beings. They're putting out things that aren't desirable.
So what would you say is the number one quality that's lacking in the average person today? That might have been more prevalent in previous generations.
Confidence.
Confidence?
I'd say honesty.
Honesty?
I mean, real confidence. Like, I'm not talking about fake bravado internet bullshit.
Swag.
I'm talking
social
about
media swag.
I'm talking about someone who's actually sure of themselves.
Yeah.
Because the insecurity of the internet creates so much insecurity with people that it's like, dude, I think most people right now are walking around feeling like frauds completely. They just feel like a fucking fraud because they know that they're pretending to be some shit online that they're not, and it fucking destroys who they are on the inside. And then when they go to be in a relationship, they're fucking paranoid. They're jealous. They're getting upset about certain things. They're projecting things. These dudes who go out and they fucking like every hot chick's picture, and then they get a girlfriend. And, they're commenting, they're in the DMs of all the girls and shit like that. And then they get a girlfriend and they assume that she's doing the same thing because that's what they did. And then all of a sudden they've got this tension. I know you're fucking doing this with so-and-so and this and that and this. Dude, it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Right.
And so you have this revolving cycle of events that just makes people feel like there's nobody out there. When in reality, if you just broke away from that same cycle for a minute, like, hey, how about this? How about just take 3 or 4 months and say, I'm not fucking dating anybody, and like, I'm going to take a break from the internet and see what the fuck is, what you're really doing. You'll get some distance between you and that repetitive cycle, and it'll start to become obvious to you what's going on.
Less distraction.
So would you say that confidence is rooted in a clear conscience, and a clear conscience is rooted in having character? Like just being a good person and doing the right thing, and that's how you can feel good about yourself and have confidence?
I think that you could start there.
Yeah.
I think that confidence is something that you need to build upon.
Yeah.
But I think that will give you a base level of, dude, I can feel good about the way I live.
Yeah.
So what attracted you to your husband?
I mean, he's a SEAL. So when I met him, I'm like,
So he
I would
has some
never
discipline.
date this guy.
Yeah.
Because they just have this really bad reputation. I mean, he's an incredible human being. He's really humble.
Yeah.
Extraordinarily capable, but incredibly humble.
He's a lot like you, I think, in terms of, like, he's a very good listener.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I
Yes.
love about Shane.
Yes.
Is like when you talk to him, he's actually listening to you. And this goes...
He's not just waiting to talk
That's
when
right.
you're done.
No, dude.
You'll meet him. He's very...
In fact, Vaughn,
Very
like
the
he
opposite.
waits. It's really weird, dude. And this is what I meant a minute ago about just being a normal human making you stand out. I can remember the first time I met Shane, and I meet fucking thousands of people.
Yeah.
And I remember the exact conversation I had with him and it was at PBR downtown when we had an event here for First Form. We didn't cover that she consults and is one of our scientific advisors for First Form as well. But it's almost bizarre how well he listens, because when you finish talking and the time between when you finish and he starts is abnormally long.
Yeah.
So you're like when I first met him, I'm like, this fucking dude's weird. But what reality is, he's actually living like a fucking human.
Yeah.
He's taking information, he's processing a thought, and he wants to think about it before he says it back to you.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and I love that about him.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things about him because, dude, it's so rare. Mm-hmm. It's so rare.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Does he do that with everybody?
He does. He
Yeah.
really cares about people.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense that you guys are together then.
He really,
Yeah.
it matters to him. I mean, you have to understand, this is a guy who went to war to protect people.
Yep.
And he truly is that sheepdog. He feels he's
An obligation to protect.
He does, and he's very gracious to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I truly have never seen anything like it. He's calm and collected and gracious.
Well, when you go out and see some fucked up shit, you
Yeah.
realize that there's not a lot of shit that we get to see to get you too riled up.
No,
You know?
he's very calm, very
That's
respectful.
something you can see about all the foot stompers and fucking ralliers and all this shit. You know they've never seen anything real, because if they did, they wouldn't be so upset about this.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, but I mean, dude, he's a stud.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
dude, if more people were like that, I think we'd have a better America.
We would.
Like, hey, let me hear what the fuck you think, and then let me think about it, and let me think what I think. And instead of me, and dude, you know what I think this came from, honestly? Like this whole problem? I've been thinking about this for a long time. If you think about how communication has evolved, 100 years ago, dude, not 100, but 130 years ago, you had to have a face-to-face conversation with someone, or you had to write them a handwritten letter. That was just how the fuck it went. All right. Well, maybe you could type it. I don't know when the typewriter came about, but anyway, I think that came about way hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
But
I have no
anyway,
idea.
did it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Anyway,
Yeah, like at
but
least
that's going to
100.
fact check it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's written or fucking voice in your face, pretty much, right? Then the telephone comes along, right? Mm-hmm. Then the telephone is the way of communication with letter writing, and what was it?
1867.
Okay,
Wow.
cool.
Wow.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
So that's still recent technology.
And that's not even when it came into popular use.
Okay, well, that's recent technology.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we moved into a scenario where, we went from human interaction to a little bit of technology, right? A phone call, a letter, right? A typewriter. Then we moved into newer forms of communication, the fax machine. That didn't come around until the fucking late 70s, early 80s. So, dude, we went this long-ass time as humans with really no other communication besides real fucking interactions. Mm-hmm. Then a little bit longer came along. We got the cell phone, right? Now we could take calls anywhere we were in the world. That's a great thing. Totally cool. Then cell phones went to text messaging. Now we're writing short little versions of the things that we want to do. Okay. Then after text messaging came along, then email comes along. So now we don't have to wait for the letters anymore. It's instant. Okay. Then social media comes along, and we can actually communicate with each other instantly by saying, hey, this is what we feel. And other people come in and comment on it, right? And this is where we fucked up. This right here, what I'm about to say is where we fucked up. When fucking Facebook, because Facebook is a fucking social influencer of culture, just the nature of it, it's so widely adopted that what it does changes the culture of how people communicate. When they took people's comments and put a fucking like underneath it, they fucked everybody up. And here's why. Because now we don't have to express our viewpoints. We can just say things and get people to like it. So instead of communicating this was 10, 12 years ago, by the way, instead of saying things that we actually believe and communicating like people, we had started to adopt an idea that we would just vent thoughts and people would like them. And so instead of us putting out information that we thought was valuable, we're now putting out information or making comments just to get the fucking reward. It's no different than a dog getting a fucking biscuit. okay? Then we even took it further than that. And we went into a scenario where if the fucking heart button in your DMs, you don't even have to fucking reply to people anymore. You could just fucking heart it or send them an emoji. If you think about how this broke down human interaction and connection over the last 130 years, it kind of makes sense why things are the way they are, because now we have a scenario where instead of people contributing valuable information in society, we have a scenario where people are just saying shit to get people to fucking agree with it and champion their comment.
Yep.
Doesn't mean it has to be true.
Right.
Because the likes are more important than the truth to a whole fucking generation of people. So why would they try to have real conversation when their entire image is tied to the amount of attention they get for what the fuck they say?
Dude, I mean, it's brilliant. No, you're right. I mic drop. I don't know what else
I'm
to
just
say.
saying. Like, we look around and we're like, why is it this way? Well, fuck, that's why.
Yeah.
Because now instead of us saying, hey, man, Vaughn, that's a really cool opinion. Here's what I think. What do you think about that? And us having a conversation, it's just a mob mentality. Vaughn, you're a fucking dumb fuck. Like on the comment.
And then
because the more fucking abrasive and negative the fucking comment, the more attention it gets.
Yeah.
Right.
So everybody now is like conditioned to polarize. I say the sky is blue. This motherfucker's going to say you're a dumb fuck just so he can get attention from people. Now we have people who say ignorant shit on my posts every day.
Yeah.
And then when I comment back, you know what they say? Hey, I was just trying to get your attention.
Right. Right.
That's where we're at.
Because they take that as the equivalent of you know how they say there's no such thing as bad press? They would say people coming and attacking them, hey, at least they're getting attention.
The issue of people is that, dude, we lack real communication skills because of the technology that we use to communicate. Dude, we're fucked.
It's kind of irony, you know, these platforms that are meant to bring us together, and obviously they do on some level, but there's a real dark side to them.
Yeah.
It's a real dark side. So
look, man, I mean, dude, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
So this goes into the topic that we're talking about, loneliness. Okay? How the fuck do you meet someone or connect with them if you don't know how to communicate?
right.
Like, you got to remember, we're a little bit older than most of these people, all three of us, okay? These people who are 20 and 25, 18 to 24, where the fuck they going to learn how to talk to people and connect with them and make, like, dude, when I was 22, if you wanted to meet a girl, okay, because I was into girls, I'm just making that fucking clear. Like, we're in such a society now where it's like not even cool to be into fucking the opposite sex anymore. You've got, you have to be able to you have to do something weird to even be accepted.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying weird, but I'm saying, like, if a standard relationship, man, woman, isn't even like,
You're somehow boring if you're normal.
it's not even boring. It's like you're biased. Like, if I want to fuck a woman, then I hate gay people. Like, that's the logic that's being used now. And again, like, dude, look, I got tons of gay friends. They're cool as fuck, male and female, and they're all cool. Like, coolest motherfuckers you ever know. But there's a segment of their culture that is offended by a commercial that shows a man and a woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, dude.
Or like the people that got upset about the Peloton commercial. You
No,
know?
because, dude, the problem that we run into is that instead of just live and let live, it's not that anymore. Right. It's fucking accept my way as the way.
And if you don't, you're
a fucking bigot.
You're a hater and a bigot.
No, you're a fucking bigot. Mm-hmm. You're a racist. You're a misogynist. You're all the shit they say about Trump. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. So if you don't fucking push the agenda of whatever it is, and I mean not just say, hey, it's cool if you're gay. We could still be fucking friends. I support your decisions. If you say that shit and somehow, you're like a bigot if you fucking say how much you love fucking women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm exaggerating, okay?
No,
don't
but you're
fucking
right.
come at me,
Yeah.
bro, all right, with that shit.
Right.
But I'm making a point. Maybe this is the wrong example, okay? It could be. But my point is That's the mentality of amongst these causes. If we don't adopt them as our life, we're somehow a fucking bigot. Well, who the fuck is the bigot now?
Exactly. If you disagree with me, you hate me. Well, how arrogant
hate
are you?
you.
Yeah, and I hate you. Yeah. No, dude.
You're holding me back. You're oppressing me. Motherfucker, you don't know nothing about oppression. That's the truth. You go to every other motherfucking country in the Middle East and fuck all these places all over the world, and you fucking say one thing they don't like, to cut your fucking head off.
Right.
People in this country, they're fucking weak, dude. They're weak. They don't have a fucking sense of reality. They don't understand how grateful. I was talking to one of my friends, a black female, by the way, fucking right before I came in here. She's traveling the fucking world all over the place. And she goes, I learned a lot by doing this. And I'm like, what was the biggest thing you learned? And it was, I just realized how grateful people are in other places of the world to even have the ability to work. And to even have the opportunity to do work. They're so happy. They're so appreciative. They're so grateful to even have the ability to fucking work. We don't have that here anymore.
Nope.
It's sad, man.
It is sad.
It's sad. Everybody here, you got to be a fucking entrepreneur. You got to be a millionaire. It's not even a millionaire anymore. Now it's, I fucking sold $7 billion here. Or I did this here. Or I did that. Like everybody, like I own fucking 6 companies. Like, dude, I almost feel guilty for fucking starting the shit because I actually do own a lot of companies. And people feel like, oh, well, I want to be a successful entrepreneur too, so I got to fucking sell. No, you don't. Like, you don't.
And can I say something?
Yeah.
You started by being a good person.
I try to be.
You are.
Dude, look.
I think that you think a lot about the welfare of other people, the people that are in your business. I mean, it's just something that it struck me that I noticed.
Yeah.
It's very true.
I mean, he cares about the
Well, why wouldn't
people.
I?
But you do.
Yeah, but why wouldn't I? That's what I don't understand.
But there
It's
are
not
bosses
that
who
way.
don't. I mean, my dad had a boss for 5 years who couldn't care less about him.
Well, that's pretty fucking stupid from a business standpoint because...
Well, that's why he lost him as an
What
employee.
I'm saying
My dad
is
found a
like,
better deal.
You got to be smart enough as a business owner to understand that the people that are helping your business have to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, are you
People
are you that fucking stupid?
People are very self-absorbed.
Yeah, but
They are. They don't realize that it's in their own best interest to care about people.
That's terrible business.
It is terrible business.
Like, it's terrible business to not care about the people that fucking work for you.
You're right. It is.
What? How?
But people are still in that sort of pre-social media, pre-modern mentality where it was true years ago that you probably could screw people over and still somehow make a good living, and make
dude, that's
and
what
build
we
an
see
empire.
on fucking internet right now.
Right.
We see a lot of people who are just trying to screw people over.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that they're burying their name.
Yeah.
They're burying it. I don't know how hard this is to understand because, like, if you're a shitty person, the internet's going to accelerate it.
Yeah.
And people are going to know. So, like, it's good. It's a good idea to be a good person.
Yeah.
It's practical.
It is. Makes good sense.
And you know what? Sometimes you're going to fuck it up. Guess what you do when you fuck it up? You fucking
apologize.
You apologize and you fix the
and
issue.
you make it
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Well, Dr. Lyon,
Yes, sir.
we're big on nicknames here, so maybe I should start calling you the Lioness.
As long as it's
I
not
like
a swear
that.
word, we're
No,
good.
it's not a swear
I mean,
word. But
it could
so
be.
where can people find you, connect with you,
Yeah.
all that good stuff?
Well, they can connect with me on Instagram. I'm most active there, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon.
Lyon?
Lyon.
Okay.
Yep. And then
Is Gabrielle
Gabrielle.
Gabrielle?
Yep.
Okay.
And
you're
then
active on Instagram.
Yep, the
Do you have a
most.
Twitter?
I do.
Okay.
Twitter and Facebook.
Facebook. Okay.
And a website.
website, just
Yeah.
your name. Is it Dr. Gabrielle Lyon or is it just Gabrielle
DR.
Lyon?
Dr. Gabrielle Lyon.
Okay. Well, before I ask for Andy's final comments and final word,
Well, no, like, dude, I would like to hear more about what you think about this loneliness shit. Because, like, you've been kind of sitting there absorbing.
Yeah.
So I want to give you an opportunity to, like, what do you think it is?
I think that people have lost the respect and ability to communicate with other people. Because when you don't respect people and have a dynamic, you become lonely. Mm-hmm. It's this self-fulfilling prophecy. Mm-hmm. You're comparing yourself. You're doing things that are not relevant or engaging or developing true human connection. Because that's what it's all about is true human connection. We were designed for that.
yeah, for sure.
So the loneliness is what perpetuates. It's self-fulfilling. And we have no way to regulate behaviors. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I know some. We have some mutual friends that have very passionate ways of delivering what it is that they love.
Yeah.
Okay, and I talked to some of these guys, and they struggle a lot, even because, like, dude, even on the backside, they struggle mentally with like feeling depressed.
Yes.
Because they feel like they're fighting a battle. And then they have to, like, dude, we've gotten to the point in society where, like, when you tell the truth,
Yes.
you're automatically a bad person.
Yes.
You know, like you're hating.
Yep.
And so I've talked to some of these people who are very, you know, they're committed to telling the truth,
Yes.
but then they struggle mentally on the backside because they feel like a dick all the time.
Yep.
So I fucking get that a lot. Like, I feel an obligation, because I relate to that. I feel an obligation to tell the truth. And then when I tell the truth and I deliver it because I'm a passionate person and I just tell the truth, I'm like, fuck, you're a dick. In my head, I'm like, you're fucking being an asshole. But I'm not being an asshole because I'm actually helping people by helping them see the truth. So let's talk about that for a minute because I think that's a real problem. We have a lot of people out there who are fighting to tell what the truth is, but they on the backside, they feel like they're constantly attacking people, which makes them feel bad about themselves.
Well, I think that when those people, and I know exactly who you're talking about, it's it's really stepping up for humankind.
He's a great dude.
He's a great dude. I've known him for over a decade.
Yeah.
Over a decade.
Yep. And we talk about this consistently. Like
Yes.
Because I struggle with the same thing.
Yes. And I think that it's really about protecting the rest of society. And that's where it comes to. And you know, it is a fine line because when you say things politely, which is what I did for so long, I'm like, oh, well, you know, I really don't think we should be doing this. And the impact, it wasn't truthful or not truthful is not the right word. It wasn't exposed enough.
Right. And then you go away feeling like you didn't fulfill your responsibility
100%.
of what the fuck you know.
That's right.
So like, that's how
and
I
there's
feel.
a personal responsibility to actually, if you have the knowledge or you have the capacity, you have an obligation to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's an obligation to tell the truth.
It's an obligation, and it's very isolating.
Yeah.
It is.
Dude, you know, this is what I say about, and this is the information that I try to tell people, because it's not just one or two guys. This is a lot of people I connect with. They share the same concern. Look, man, being the leader, I have a little meme that
it's
we
not
made.
easy.
Fuck no, dude.
No.
It's the tip of the spear.
Yep.
You're going to be bloody. You're going to be damaged. You're going to be fucked up. And that spear is going to be, when you're the tip of the spear, bro, it is fucking lonely. Like, that's just reality. You know what I mean? Like, it is far easier to stay quiet and just go with the flow than it is to say, hey, this isn't the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Like, dude, even just doing this podcast, you guys, like, the amount of bullshit that I get back from even doing it makes me say, and Vaughn, you know this, and sometimes I say, you know what? Fuck this shit.
Yep.
Because I don't need to do it.
Right.
Because the truth is, I'm fucking rich. My companies are kicking ass. People get mad to even say that, but it's a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And my companies are going to keep kicking ass because my people believe in the cause and we fucking work together in real life, you know? But my point is like, I feel this obligation too. And then when I don't do it, I feel bad.
Right.
But then when I do it, I feel bad too. Because,
But you're just gonna. But that's what part of being a good leader is. You still do it, and you keep doing it.
You just literally described the way the prophets in the Old Testament described their experience. Like when God gave them something to say, they're like burn inside. It hurt for them to say it, but they had to say it.
Yeah.
Like that's literally the way that it's described.
Really?
Like
Well, dude, it's true. I mean, it is true. It's dude. If I were you guys who are listening and you follow people that tell the truth, that work hard to tell you the truth, appreciate those people, because those people they're usually fighting some really bad shit on the backside with themselves about their obligation to serve this truth, and they feel lonely because of it.
Because it's alienating.
Yeah. So if you guys believe in, like, you listen to people and you believe in what they're saying, fucking let them know, man.
Yes.
Because, dude, I struggle with this. You know, like Vaughn knows this because we talk about it all the time. You and I have talked about it before too. You know, it's not fun to tell people shit they don't want to hear.
Right.
Like, I don't like that. I don't like people think I'm like mean. I'm not mean. I'm telling you the fucking truth so you
care.
Can make a decision.
Yeah.
You know, and people take it as mean. Just because you don't like to hear something doesn't mean it's mean.
Right.
In fact, I would argue that when people tell you the shit you don't like to hear, they're actually being more loving of you than all the other motherfuckers in your life.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So when you have people that you're vibing with, and you don't assume that they're just like feeling great about going out and leading this charge, because dude, that shit can be lonely as fuck.
Our society would be a whole lot better, a whole lot quicker if everybody, after hearing something, didn't say, I don't like that. Or if they did say, I don't like that, they immediately followed it up with, but is it true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it true?
Yeah.
I want to add another quick layer to this conversation, which is that, when we talk about loneliness, this is a truth that people don't want to admit. But I remember literally like my kindergarten teacher telling me this, and that it was, if you want to have friends, you got to be friendly. You know? And the reality is that there's a lot of people out in our culture who are lonely, who are isolated. But the reality is it's because they've kind of withdrawn to themselves. They've kind of isolated themselves. They've celebrated, their own pity party. And reality is that maybe they could be less lonely if they got the emphasis off of themselves and they said, okay, I feel alone. I feel disconnected. I feel alienated. Maybe I need to step out and talk to somebody else. Maybe I need to go out and see if there's somebody else who feels the same way and see if they want to have a conversation, if they want to have coffee, if they want to get together for dinner. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes we're lonely because it's a self-imposed isolation.
Yeah.
We've just become so self-absorbed with our own world and our own concerns that we don't reach out to other people. We don't put other people first. So I think a real antidote to loneliness is just like intentionally figuring out how you can serve somebody else and connect with somebody else. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So what I started saying earlier, so you shared your social media contacts, right?
Yes.
On Instagram, Facebook, and you have Dr. Gabrielle Lyon.
I know, yep.
Is
and I have a book. That,
you have a book? What's your book?
Coming out. Well, it's not done yet. It'll probably be out in another year.
Okay.
So I'm working on that.
That's awesome.
And
can you give us like a little bit of a preview about what that's going to be?
The Lyon protocol.
Nice.
Optimizing
I
the
like
organ
it.
of longevity. Yeah.
And can we start a movement where if people follow you, they're called, and they're women, they're called lionesses?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, but you're not a lion, right? You're not somebody who lies, right? I'm just enjoying these puns too much. But so I had warned you prior to starting this that I was going to ask you to give just a simple closing sort of life hack or health hack, and you said you knew exactly what you were going to do.
So
what you were gonna do.
Most of us have the same 98,000 thoughts every day. Same thoughts. Majority of those are negative. If you could do one thing, and really that's understand your own narrative and change that, you literally will change the trajectory of not only your health, but your life.
Dude, wow. I just had this conversation with you yesterday. I'm pointing to DJ. DJ went on my walk with me yesterday for 75 Hard, and we were talking. And one of the things I used to do, like, dude, this is just how I'm wired, okay? Like, I would wake up in the morning, and I would look at my phone, and I would say, because there's always like dozens and dozens of texts, okay? They're ready to go. It's like waking up with a whole line of people waiting to talk to you. You know what I mean? It's kind of fucking stressful. So I used to wake up, my first thought for fucking years was, fuck. Whose ass do I get to wipe today? That's what I started thinking. And it didn't occur to me until recently, in the last year and a half, year or so, that people actually need me. That's why they're doing that. And so instead of me thinking, well, whose shit do I got to fix? Now I wake up and I say, dude, another day I get to be a fucking boss.
Yeah.
Like, for real. That's my narrative when I wake up. First thing I think. I put my feet on the fucking ground and said, dude, most people would trade a fucking ton to have one day of being the dude. I get to go be it every day. And I thought, and dude, you know what? That's fucking changed my whole mentality. Like, in terms of my mood, dude, I still I'm working on controlling my emotional like frustrations, but just thinking that has made a massive improvement on fucking everything.
Yeah.
And I bet if I would have do my blood work on a regular basis, you would see that in the blood work.
Yes.
I bet you would.
Yep. Yes. Negative thoughts it's very inflammatory for the body. It's stressful. It releases stress hormones.
But that's just one thought.
Yeah.
Out of my whole day.
Yeah.
Like that one little thought.
That you repeated every day for years.
Yeah, but it's not even true. The truth is I am a fucking boss.
Yeah.
For real. Like in every sense of the fucking word. So who the fuck wouldn't be excited about that? That's how I started thinking about it. And when I started thinking about it like that, I'm like, damn, dude, this is pretty awesome.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I actually like, you know, because dude, we all get caught up in our own narrative. You know, like
I see it all the time. I mean,
yeah.
I take care of people on the daily, and it's the same narrative. It's a different flavor of narrative, but it's the same narrative. Same 4 things.
Yep.
Everybody.
Dude, Dr. Nicole LaPera, we've had her on the MFCEO project, and I'm going to have her on this show as well regularly, just like you. But she really helped me with that. Not directly like saying, hey, fix this shit, but like by asking me questions that helped me come to my own conclusion, just as friends, like texting back and forth. And I would say, hey, I'm really struggling with this thought. And she would say, well, do you actually believe that that's the truth? And I'm like, well, no. And like when you start to like,
It's so rational.
I know, but when you start to logically unpack why the fuck you think certain things, most of the shit you think is actual bullshit.
Totally.
That you've been conditioned to fucking believe based upon inputs that you put in that probably just weren't the right inputs. You know what I'm saying? And I can be look, man, I'll attest to what you said. It's life-changing. Just one fucking sentence.
Yep.
Instead of like, dude, I literally wake up and I've conditioned myself to wake up. My feet hit the ground. I'm like, dude, it's going to be a great day being a fucking boss, you know, or being a boss.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really call myself the fucking boss.
Right.
But like, being a boss doesn't mean you have to actually be the boss, right? That everybody knows that.
Everybody can be the MFCEO of their life.
That's right, man.
Right.
So like, dude, I fucking wake up and I think that shit and I go look in the mirror and I'm like, we got some work to do, motherfucker, you know, and then we go do it.
Yeah.
And it's great. But like, man, like now I'm working on identifying all the other bullshit that I've got going on up there in my head that I'm trying to fucking change around.
But by identifying it, that's the ultimate.
Yeah.
Name it.
It pulls the curtains back because you can't change what you don't identify.
Yeah.
Just like with your blood work.
Yeah.
You can't change the data you don't know.
Yeah. I tell people that all the time because they'll ask me questions about like entrepreneurship and they'll say, well, dude, how do I make sure I don't lose it all or like get complacent? And I'm like, well, dude, the fact that you're aware of this and you're fearful of it is going to keep you from doing that because you're consciously taking things to resist that. It's the people who aren't aware of that actually end up have that happen to them. You know what I mean? And another thing too, this is a thought that was on my mind about entrepreneurs. Because like a lot of entrepreneurs really struggle with, and I think people, not just entrepreneurs, because everybody's an entrepreneur and entrepreneur. There's only 2 kinds of people. You're fucking one or the other. You either own an organization or you work inside of an organization. So either of these groups, I think a lot of people feel like one day they're going to wake up and it's all going to be gone. So they live in fear. But remember how long it took you to build this shit. It takes the same amount of time to fucking break it the fuck down. I mean, it might be a faster scale. That's the wrong way to say it. It's not the same amount of time. It takes a lot of effort to make something come crashing down. So like, dude, that's a thought that I struggle with for a long time where I thought like, fuck, dude, one day the shoe's going to drop and I'm just going to be fucking destitute. And that thought has driven me to push, right? But when I logically like worked through it, I'm like, that's not really even possible because there's all kinds of solutions to every problem if I'm willing to learn and get better and take accountability for what the fuck went wrong. So the fact of the matter is it's almost literally impossible for it to just, you know, for anybody's life just to come fucking crashing down. The way that it comes crashing down is by you ignoring the little things for so long that they become fucking huge things. And so like, dude, when you start to think about it like that and you think of it in terms of Like, it's just like losing weight or gaining weight. You've lost 100 pounds and you're terrified of being fat again. One fucking pizza is not going to make you fat.
That's right.
But if you make a habit out of that and you let it go without paying attention, you know what I'm saying? That's where it gets out of control. So I think for a lot of the people out there who are living in that fear, because that's like just like we hear in society about the get rich quick shit, like we hear the stories, they're glorified. Like the story of the lottery winner, or the story of the business owner, or the guy who opened a business and now he's a billionaire in 2 years, shit like that. Those are the glorified stories. Well, we also hear the glorified stories of the back end too, which is like the guy who had it all and fucking everything came crumbling down. The American greed stories, the shit. And it terrifies motherfuckers. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are living in complete fucking fear that is completely illogical.
Totally.
Completely illogical. There's no reason to live like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know this because I lived like that for a long time and it fucking sucked. It's why my hair's fucking gray. For real. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So for you guys out there struggling with these thoughts, realize that it takes time to build shit and it takes time to break shit down. And whatever your goal is or whatever life you're leading, if you're aware of it, if you're aware of what you're trying to not get, not focusing on it, not obsessing over it, but just aware, that's almost good enough to keep it in check.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I tell my patients is to report on their internal dialogue. Have that be their new favorite sport. Because I'm telling you, the list is the same 5 fucking things.
Yeah. What do you mean?
I'm going to lose it all.
Sport? So tell me about this.
Catch and release. So all the patients that I see, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things, okay, with the SEALs, not so much. They don't quite need any advice from me in terms of that. These guys. But, for everybody else, literally everybody else, there's a narrative. Mm-hmm. It's a mental narrative. And we all have whatever that is, and we repeat the same 98,000 thoughts. Mm-hmm. When you really start to identify anyone that has depression, weight issues, whatever it is, they have the same thoughts. Whether it's, I'm never going to be good enough, I'm never going to make enough money, I'm going to get sick, I'm never going to find the right person, or I'm going to lose it all. Whatever those 4 thoughts, whatever your 4 thoughts are, you've got 4, Vaughn has 4, I have 4. It's the same rhetoric over and over and over again.
The same lies that we buy all the time.
Yes.
Same thing.
To ourselves, though. And then the problem is, this is why I always tell people, you don't have fucking haters. You got a voice in your head that fucking hates on you.
Mm-hmm. But if you can identify that, and actually what I did in the beginning is I would just write it down. And then you start to laugh at it. Just like what you're saying.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You would just write it down.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing the most ridiculous thing, and it's almost comical if you were to say it out loud.
Dude, listen to this shit. So last night I was high as fuck, all right? And I'm laying on my couch, and I'm fucking texting one of my our accountant, okay? And I'm like,
Mike?
I can't get a hold of him, all right? And I'm like, fuck. Like, because I'm fucking, I'm high, so like I'm not thinking fucking logically.
Right.
And which I come up with some really good ideas, okay? Let's be real. But, Adam, what the fuck you laughing at, bro? Drug test Monday, motherfucker. So, anyway, dude, the thing is like, I'm sitting here thinking, and I text dude, it's like 8 o'clock at night. Yesterday was fucking Valentine's Day. All right? I had completely forgot it's Valentine's Day.
So did Shane.
So, oh, yeah. So I text him, and I'm like, hey, bro, I didn't get this report today. I don't get a reply back. Fucking like 30 minutes goes by. And I'm like, fuck, I haven't heard from Mike. Because usually he hits me right back.
Yeah.
So I fucking text him again. I'm like, bro, is everything okay? And in my head, I'm like, fuck, dude, what if something happened to him, man? And like tomorrow, I'm going to find out that it fucking, and I like start building this fucking. And then I'm like, dude, I caught myself and I'm like, are you fucking stupid? Like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, but dude, that's me. That's me doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like I'm a high operating individual. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In fact, I know I am because I got medically called that by one of my doctors. Yeah. So it's a real thing. Isn't that a real thing? Like
she's
a category
kind of a quack,
of people,
though.
high operating individual.
I don't know.
Yeah. Just say yes.
Yes.
Ohio.
See,
H-I-O.
this is fucking science, motherfuckers. You said yes. It's fucking true.
That's true.
because you're a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, this is the whole problem we're laughing about. But I don't know, man. Like, we all have that ability to fuck ourselves up mentally. Yeah. And, you know, it's why everybody's so obsessed with haters, dude. This is why when you make a post about haters, everybody fucking loves it. Because, dude, everybody's like, why do you always talk about haters? I'm like, well, because it's a real thing that we struggle with. It's just not actually other people. It's us.
But it's easier to blame other people than to point at ourselves and say we're actually the source of our problem.
Dude, look, man. Here's the conversation. What is the conversation like? Let's be real. What's the conversation about haters? It's very rarely, this person said this or did this to me. It's almost always, man, I said this, and I bet there's people out there that took it this way.
Right.
And I bet those motherfuckers fucking hate me. And then you start, well, there's got to be millions of those people. But, dude, that's an arrogant thought because that is like inflating your own importance falsely. Like, really, dude, the truth is nobody really gives a fuck.
No.
They don't give a fuck about me.
They're pretty.
They don't give a fuck about, like, dude.
Too busy living their lives to worry about you.
Yeah, that's right, dude. We're busy doing our own shit. No one gives a fuck about, like, dude, do we care? Yes. Is it everything? No. So, like, we sit here and make up this, like, God, dude, there's got to be a fucking army of motherfuckers out. There's probably a club. There's probably they probably fucking get together and have fucking parties and shit, talk about how much they hate me. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's not fucking reality, but we all do that shit. All of us.
Yep.
We have that mental fucking thing where we think dude.
So you caught yourself. The best sport is catch and release.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what you mean.
Catch and release. Caught the thought.
Yeah.
And then you released it. You were like, oh my God, it's Valentine's Day. What am I doing? Texting
dude,
that's it.
That shit right there is the most important thing that was said on the show.
And that's what helps everybody.
Yeah. That's good
Catch
stuff.
and release. Make it your new favorite sport.
Dude, I think that is, if you listen to nothing else and you take nothing else from this, if you take that, it will improve your life fucking exponentially.
Definitely. Guys, if you want to hear that kind of good truth on a regular basis, you can subscribe to Andy's blog. It's called the Andygram. You go to andyfrisella.com and hit subscribe.
Not only that, go follow Dr. Gabrielle because she's spitting this fucking good shit, man.
Follow Dr. Gabrielle. And before Andy wraps us up, the only other thing I was going to say is I just wanted to share a book recommendation because I want to contribute to this. Because I think we would all agree that not only taking control of your mental conversation, but filling your head with good stuff is important to success. I have a very unusual book recommendation
Beer's
for everybody.
Good stuff.
What's that?
Beer's good stuff.
Beer is good stuff. I can't have it because of gluten, but that's another topic. I'm getting the death stare right now.
If you motherfuckers listening right now
I'm getting the death
make
stare.
an emoji out of my face, it'd be that fucking round one with the fucking straight eyes and a straight mouth. You are so full of shit, bro.
I can't, man. I can't. Besides, it's just generally healthy to stay away from beer.
You ruined my joke anyway.
I know.
I was going to say beer goes in your head. It's pretty good shit.
Oh. Okay, I got it.
That was a bad joke.
That was a bad joke.
It was only bad because you fucked it up, bro.
Oh, by the way, if you want us to address any particular topic or you have a question, send it. Are we still doing the confused AF at andyfrisella.com or you can just DM me? And yes, I'm going to make a shameless promotion for my Instagram at Vaughn Kohler.
They should follow you.
And it's not VON, by the way.
Yeah, guys.
Jeez. VAUGHN. KOHLER, just like the toilet.
They think it's like Vaughn Kohler, like Von Dutch.
Yeah.
Maybe you could make a hat out of it, dude, and just sell the shit.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I by the way, I have reserved the Vaughn the Impaler Instagram. I never use it.
Is that going to be your
it
new
doesn't
porn
exist.
site?
But just
when we
so
all
nobody,
escalate to being naked on the internet, or is that going to be your home base?
No, just I just didn't want anybody taking it, so it's kind of parked, you know. I also bought VaughnTheImpaler.com, but that could become kind of an interesting website.
I have a funny story about a funny website.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I would like you all to go to www. Why don't you go to this website here, Madat, real quick. Tell me what you find. www.ownpussy.com.
Oh, my.
What comes up, Madat?
Is it OWN?
What? Oh, that's you. That's Pimp.
Vaughn, put that on your computer right now.
I can't, dude. I got one of those, you know. Oh, that's funny.
So
That's hilarious. There's
so-
a picture of Andy looking like what's that dude from the 70s? Frank
Lucas.
Frank Lucas wearing the
You want to see a funny picture of me?
white
Go to
fur jacket.
ownpussy.com. Okay,
That's funny.
like 15 years ago. All right, fucking, we were having a meeting.
Has that been around for 15 years?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That's an old picture from Mardi
That's
Gras.
hilarious.
So we had a an employee meeting, and we all got fucking wasted, and we were all talking shit. And one of the guys, Jason Kane, decides to make a website about some of the shit that we were talking, and puts this picture, and now it lives on the internet.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And now its SEO score is going to skyrocket because
Hey,
everybody's going to go.
you know
to
what,
there.
man?
So
I don't fuck with it because like I'm willing to take a razzing just like everybody
Yeah.
else, but it's been
that's
awkward
awesome.
a few times because I've had that DM to me. They're like, "Bro, look, I found this picture of you."
that's funny.
Like, oh, really?
But in all seriousness, we love feedback on topics to cover, questions to cover. So email or shoot me a DM.
What was your
So-
book?
What's that?
What's
oh,
the
yeah.
book?
Thank you. Yeah. So the book is actually a book that's been around for a while, but it's called The 50s by David Halberstam. And it's a history book, but it's written so well. And what most people don't know is like the 50s were an amazing decade for entrepreneurship. Like you're talking Ray Kroc, Kemmons Wilson, who started Holiday Inn. There was a guy that started he started mass producing homes, and he established Levittown, Pennsylvania. Like it's a really amazing just reminder that there's been a lot of different people who have contributed to our country and its success, but man, business people and entrepreneurs have contributed to American success in a way that in many ways nobody else has. And so that's covered in this, but it's also a decade where the rise in technology, like, you know, when you went from radio to television, there are lessons about media and the strengths of media and the pitfalls of media that are 100% applicable today. And it's just a really, really well-written book, and there's a lot of life lessons. And so I would recommend either buying it or listening to it on Audible. It's just like the production on audible.com is really good too. But, you know, you're 75 Hard, Andy's program for creating mental toughness. One of the requirements is reading 10 pages of a book a day. This would be a great book to read. Even though technically it's not self-help, you can pull life lessons from it that are just killer. And I would also add, for those of you who are committed to self-help, don't just read self-help books. Read widely. Read deeply. History, biography, even science, like Dr.
We have this
Gabrielle
amazing
Lyon.
capacity as humans to learn shit.
Yeah.
Isn't
And
it
if you
awesome?
don't use it, you really are.
Yeah.
You are failing. You are wasting your life if you're not cultivating your mind on a day-to-day basis. But Andy, final word, final thought.
What are you reading?
I am reading Atomic Habits, which is a great book. And then the other book is Make Your Bed.
Oh, yeah.
I try to find, so this is Admiral McRaven.
Yeah.
And he gave a really great speech. I think it was at Texas, UTech, or anyway, it was really amazing. And the SEAL Museum for Michael Murphy is having an opening. And we're going to go see him. He's going to be there and talk.
Oh, that's cool. Is he speaking?
He is.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I think most people listening to this show has probably heard that speech.
yeah. And so Shane and I like to read together. And this
Yeah.
was something that's easy and simple because we don't have a lot of time with a new baby, but we always make sure that the house foundation is good. So
Wait. When you read together, you mean read the same book together?
No, at night. Yeah, together.
Or read different books at the same time?
No, we read the same book together.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kosh
that's
and I do
cool.
that.
Yeah.
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 Like
It's
read
all
it out
about-
loud?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, it's
You
about
read it out loud? Really?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So this is new to me. So like school
It's
me.
about
in
it.
this.
I mean,
just about a
I
teamwork.
read a lot more than just that, but
You
I mean,
read it
we
out?
usually
Who
pick
read-
a book that we read
I
together.
usually make Shane read it,
He's
but
the
we
reader?
sit. Yeah. Sit and read together.
Dude, how you think I got 4 kids?
Hey, man.
We pick a book and Vaughn starts narrating it. And my wife's like, honey, put the
You know
book
what,
down.
man? That could really do a lot of people some good.
Yeah.
Like just to read out loud.
Yeah, man.
Like
Yeah.
it would help a ton with their like ability
People
to speak.
always used to
It
read out
does.
loud. That was the only way that people
And-
ever read.
and also
reading
the-
silently is a relatively
Yes.
new thing in America.
And the
No way.
connection
or in
together.
the history of the world. Yeah.
Explain that to me.
Because reading books used to be so rare that whenever
wanna share 'em
someone-
with everybody.
and literacy used to be so rare that when you could read a book, you read it
Arguably
out
still
loud
is,
so that
probably.
so that other people could benefit from it. But in addition, there is some evidence that reading out loud, like if you stand at a podium and you read it out loud, you involve more senses and you're going to retain more of it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
And it's weird that both of you guys do that to me. Like, not weird, I think in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we
so-
read all the time.
I didn't realize people actually did that. Like they have like a...
Probably not super
The
common.
best book that I've ever read out loud with
Well,
my
it makes
wife.
sense because both of you people are smart as fuck.
Well, she's
so like
smarter,
I
but-
actually think that's some pretty good advice. I might start doing it.
It's good.
And it's
I mean, it's good for a
interesting.
relationship,
It
too.
is
The best
because-
Who wants
the best,
to come listen to me read some shit?
Dude, hey, listen, that reminds me of an idea that I had that I'm not going to share on the air, but
Yeah.
you and I need to talk about. But the best book I ever read out loud with my wife, and it was a killer book, was the book Unbroken by
Yeah.
Laura Hillenbrand.
Yes, we have
which
that
is
book. Yes.
Like, have you ever read that book?
You know my mom wrote a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew your mom was an author. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
So it
people don't
runs in the
realize
family.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's called-
she wrote like novels, right?
Yeah, it's her last book she wrote is called Hickory Hill.
That's awesome.
And her name is Sherry Hill.
Sherry
if you want
Hill.
to pick that one up.
SHERRY?
IE.
IE.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
That's
that
awesome.
book,
Is it on Amazon?
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, no, Unbroken. If anybody's not
That's
read
interesting.
that, that's the story of Louis Zamperini, who was at sea during World War II for like 2 months, and then after that spent I don't know how long, like a year at a Japanese concentration
Yes.
camp. It's insane. It's an insane story. By the way, the movie sucks, but the book is incredible. And Laura Hillenbrand, the way she writes, it's like you're reading a movie. It's so descriptive and awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead. You were saying.
So one of the things that's so interesting when I read with Shane is the perspective that you both are reading the same thing and you're reading it together at the same time, but what you each hear is different.
Yeah.
And the perspective is different, so you actually get to know your partner better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Dude, it never occurred to me that was like something people did.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think it's
Like
very
now I'm
common.
having this thing. I'm wondering like if everybody does it and I'm just the guy that doesn't.
No, I think it's
I
only
don't think
exceptional
so,
people
yeah.
like me and Dr. Gabrielle.
Yeah. I mean, because in my relationship, we think about things that would make us a better team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's just certain things within the domain of the family that we do.
But I mean, completely aside from like doing that together, like I'll go downstairs into our basement and literally take a music podium, open a book, and read it out loud to myself.
I definitely won't do that.
Yeah, but dude, that's a skill that you have to possess.
Yeah.
You have to possess that skill for what you do.
Yeah.
Because not only do you do the podcast, but you also speak like to Arte and some of the like you guys don't really realize, like, by the way, I just want to say this. You should be following Vaughn if you're not.
Thanks, dude.
A lot of you guys come to me and follow me, and like I realize like why? Because I'm awesome. But look,
I mean, let's be real.
how else do I fucking
I'm
say
amazing.
it? All right. But dude, you guys want some real spiritual, like common sense, good guidance about being a great person. If you're not following Vaughn, you're really fucking yourself. That's
Thanks,
the truth.
dude.
Because I put him in front of, with our Arte syndicate with Ed Milet, we're dealing with people who are high operating, highly successful individuals. And I put Vaughn in front of them and they fucking, they all come away with tons of valuable shit. So, like, don't sleep on that. Make sure you're following him and paying attention to what he's doing because it's amazing.
Thanks, man.
And that goes for Gabrielle, too. Nobody will come on the show that's not going to bring you high amounts of value. I promise you that.
That's very true.
So, I just want to plug you, man, because I feel like a lot of people follow
Thanks,
me.
man.
They don't follow you.
Well, to be honest with you, and I'm literally going to write this. Like I struggle a lot with self-criticism. You know that.
Well, yeah,
And,
so do I.
Like I struggle a lot with that, but going back to the narrative, right?
That's what makes
Gabrielle?
you good at what you do, bro.
Well, right, but I mean, like, I can't tell you how many times I've written a post and destroyed it.
Yeah.
Like instead of posting
'Cause
it.
it's not
So-
good enough.
Right, and so my desire, like starting literally today, I was even going to post about this today. I was literally going to call some friends of mine and say, listen, I have got to start posting more. And because I am writing this stuff and I'm not posting it, I'm not creating it because I'm buying the lie that it has to be perfect to help people. It's just baloney.
Can I just reframe that for you?
Absolutely.
So when you do that, what if it wasn't about you and then you take away what everyone else could learn from it?
Yeah.
And that's actually much more valuable.
Like just make it about serving people.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I've even
Because
had a
it's
post
so-
about that, but I
because
gotta
it's
I
not
believe my
whether
own press.
yours is perfect
Yeah.
or not, but because the message is so valuable.
well,
Yeah.
For other
I think we all
people.
tell ourselves, too, like, dude,
Like nobody wants to hear this.
right. We tell ourselves that. And then the other thing we tell ourselves is, I don't want to post this because it's going to seem like I'm full of myself.
Right.
And dude, that's a hard thing, I think, for a lot of people. I think a lot of people struggle with
You're
that.
right.
And if you look at it like what she just said, now you're in a scenario where you feel obligation to serve.
Yeah.
Because you know some shit other people don't.
So tell me this. Why is it that the people who don't have anything to say and are full of crap
Because
are the ones who are out there
No
posting?
idea. Because
And
they have
people
no
like
idea.
us
No, bro,
actually say,
no,
I
Vaughn,
don't want to
they're
make the
not-
world a worse
those
place.
people are not aware enough to even have the conversation with themselves to say, man, am I posting this shit just to be an egomaniac? They don't give a. They're not even. It's not even a fucking figment of a fucking beginning of the seed of a fucking tiniest little thought in their brain. It doesn't exist. So the reason there's an information fucking vacuum of tons of dumbass shit and very little good shit is because of what the fuck you're doing. All the other people that are smart, and there's a lot of them, are doing the same shit. They're saying, fuck, dude. You know, if I say this, it's kind of, because, dude, this social media is very selfish.
Yeah.
It's a very much attention bias technology, if you want to say whatever you want to call it. It takes a certain amount of not caring to actually even talk about things that you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
dude,
because a
I know.
humble person that's got humility,
Right.
they're gonna feel like you're bragging. Like, dude, I always feel like I'm bragging when I show my life, because, dude, I know it's a lot different than most people's life. So I feel like I'm bragging. So then I don't show it. But then people come to me and they're like, bro, like, I'll have these conversations, dude. Like, because we've been doing this long enough now, where we have people who are who literally have built new lives because of certain things that they saw. And they'll be like, dude, I remember when I saw you get your first Lamborghini in 2012. That inspired me. Now my business is doing $60 million. So there's real impact because we've been doing it long enough. So then I have to think like, fuck, I kind of need to be a little bit of a douchebag because there's certain people out there that go out and fucking love it.
Right.
You know? And
No,
then you struggle with
absolutely.
the internal thought because you like the attention a little bit.
No, dude,
Right?
I what you're saying resonates with me so much. Like the people who really do have things to say that aren't saying it. I've often thought that we need to have some sort of like conference where we teach people how to communicate, how to put their message out there. Because the right people, the good people, the people that are really truly committed to the right things, they're the people that need to be the most aggressive about public speaking. It's one of the best things you said at the last Arte Live. You said every single one of you should be out there speaking as often as you can, because it's true. It's the loud people, it's the people that are hurting the society that are speaking the most, and it's the good people that need to communicate.
Do you
more.
understand what I mean about lack of awareness, though?
Yeah,
Like,
They're not even questioning whether what they're saying they're putting out in the world is worth anything.
By default, because of the way that we're built and the way the system is built, we hear a lot more from people who are just less intelligent and less knowledgeable about things because they don't have that internal capacity to stop themselves and say, fuck.
Yeah.
Am I being arrogant? Am I being egotistical? They're not self-evaluating in any way.
Right.
So that's why.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. You're right.
I think that's cool as shit that you guys do that reading thing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes I add a English accent, you know.
Oh, let's hear it.
Irish
You open your
accent.
mouth now.
Nah, you know.
Yeah, because I think you're full of shit.
Man, I'll try to sound like Sean Connery, which I'm not sounding like him right now, but you know, I won't even try my Sean Connery.
Hey.
I used to do a good Rain Man.
Let
Remember Rain Man?
me give you a little piece of advice, Vaughn.
Definitely.
When we're doing an audio show, don't brag about accents you don't fucking have. Because I am for sure going to say, let's hear it.
It's true.
All right?
I'll keep that in mind for the future.
All right, guys. Well, hey, look, that's the show. Thank you so much for coming down and doing this show.
Thank
it
you.
really means a lot to me. I'm happy to have you on the show, and I want to have you on the show regularly. So anytime you come down for work, let's get this going.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And guys, thanks so much for listening. If you love the show, if you got something out of it, we don't advertise this show. I would just appreciate if you left us a review on iTunes, and then also if you would share it with your friends. That's all we ask. I don't pack the show full of ads. I don't try to make it, you know, this big pitch thing. We're just trying to provide real value and have real discussion about real issues. So we would greatly appreciate it if you could help us by getting the word out about the show. All right. See you guys next time.
Told my teacher, dumb bitch, I'm gonna get millions. Watch this. In the project living, spoke it till existence.